Welcome to That's Absurd Podcast, your source for everything hip-hop, pop culture, sports, and more. Tune in, subscribe, enjoy.
Yo. Welcome back to another episode of That's Absurd Podcast. I go by the name of Juno, a.k.a. Melvo.
It's your boy, Gene P.
And your boy, Gray.
And this week we have Gray and Juno in the studio. And, you know, we got big COVID OG Nate P. He quarantined and he's still at the house.
Big quarantine, not COVID. COVID negative, but big quarantine.
You got retested anytime lately?
I haven't yet. I'm waiting. I might do it
so
this week or anything. I just want to make sure I don't have the I want to make sure I have the antibodies in, because I don't know what is it. Because what happens is people that when they catch COVID, they'll go to the hospital and say, "Hey, can I get the vaccine now?" They usually tell people, "No, it's too late." So if you have it, you can't get the vaccine.
You have to wait I believe you have to wait till the antibodies wear off, and then you can take the vaccine.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why I want to wait, and because there's still a period that they want you to wait before you take the antibody test. So I want to make sure
you have COVID.
Well, mine came back negative. Me and half the people in the house.
That was a week ago, but you've been in the house quarantining with 3 people that's positive. You have COVID.
Listen, we don't know. Maybe we had it first and they passed it for whatever reason. Well, all I know is we came back negative. So.
Whatever it is, you ain't in the studio until we get 2 negative tests.
Maybe a negative and a positive make a negative.
Yeah. So,
or 2 negative make a positive.
Yeah. So I'm still on my regimen. You know, that COVID ain't getting the best of me. You know, I take my elderberry, take my sea moss, take my vitamin D especially, and my zinc. Take that every day. You know, I'm good to go. And then, you know, whenever I can, I go out bike riding with that sauna suit on, sweat out all them stuff. So that's probably what does it, though. You put on that sauna suit, you get to that COVID before it gets to you.
What about the rest of the family? How's the rest of the family adjusting and handling it?
They're all fine, man. Like I said, everyone outside of my oldest daughter having a headache that day in school, went to go get a test, and the couple days leading up to that, my wife had a headache, and my youngest son had a headache. And my oldest son had a headache, but like I said, my oldest son, he ended up testing negative. I test negative, and Anastasia test negative. So, like I said, so other than that, they've been golden. I did have a headache yesterday and the day before that, but I think that's from lack of sleep. You know, I was up painting the crib yesterday, so I was up late.
Okay. I would ask you what you've been doing this week, but according to the CDC, you should be at home quarantining.
I've been quarantining here and at the new house as well. I've been over there painting and stuff like that. So traveling, you know, luckily the house is like a.
Did you order the paint on Amazon and have it delivered? How did you get the paint?
We already had some.
Okay.
Because we're not really painting, we're putting down primer. Because
Okay.
they had real dark color, so we just went over there priming and tearing shit off the wall, getting ready. So, you know, so before we move in over there, doing a couple of, renovations, putting our touches on it. It makes me, though, one thing I did notice this week, though, there's a bunch of people online making a killing off just do-it-yourself videos and shit like that. A bunch of house moms and shit like that doing all sorts of remarkable shit. And I'm like, damn, we got to start recording every step of this thing.
Yeah, and you usually pay them niggas to come to your house. You think they're professional. Them niggas watch that YouTube video in the car when they get to your house.
They break it down.
Make a clean come up. Yeah.
Listen, man, I'm going to have to start recording that shit. That shit is... I couldn't do that, right? It showed on YouTube. But one thing I did make
right before they get there.
Right before they get there, they pop up that they have their phone with them throughout the whole job, looking at YouTube while you paying them.
I did make me realize that I'm gonna definitely have to learn how to do. I want to teach myself how to do bathrooms, because that's bathroom and kitchens is probably your biggest cost savers whenever you're buying houses or investment properties, because those are the ones you want to upgrade.
Yeah. Right.
I guess flooring too, but flooring isn't that real. It's not a real deal breaker. You know what I'm saying? You could always find some flooring on sale every now and then, but that bathroom and kitchen is always going to be a headache, bro.
Yeah, those where you get dollar for dollar when you invest in your property is the bathrooms and the kitchen.
So I'm going to learn bathroom at the very least. You know what I'm saying? That kitchen, about hanging cabinets and all that shit, that seems a little bit more work than bathroom. Other than a lot of demolition and putting up sheetrock and shit like that, cutting out, I think it'll be easier.
Okay, what you been up to, Gray?
Nothing really, not much.
At the house?
Yeah, man, just at the house.
Quarantining like Nate's supposed to be doing.
Yeah, it's not really much going on, you know. Just
yeah, it's kind of dead out here.
Yeah.
What about you, Juno?
Bruh, let me tell you, man. I had the longest weekend ever, bro. I'm talking a weekend that damn near killed me, bro. Because Saturday I shot down to Palm Beach to go to Freak funeral. They
Mm-hmm.
had a beautiful service, one of the best funerals I've been to. The funeral was nice as hell, bro, and it was
No,
like
rest in peace, Freak, Jimmy Freak. No.
organized, everything. I'm like, that shit was on point.
Did he
Uh,
have the horse and carriages?
he
His?
had all that.
Okay, okay.
He
I
had
wasn't sure if
all
that was
that.
him or
He had
Handsome.
all that. He had a in New Orleans they do the second line
The
where they
second
have
line,
the
yeah.
band and all that. He had all that. I
Dope
was like,
shit.
damn, this is impressive. This was a nice ass funeral. But when I got to the funeral, I walked in. I sat next to G Boy. You know G Boy.
Yeah,
I
yeah. I
sat next
expected
to
him to
G
be
Boy,
there.
and he muttered something to me with my brother name in it, and I was like, "Yeah, man, I've been calling that nigga all morning. His phone going straight to voicemail." Then he tells me, "Note got jammed up," and I'm like, "Oh fuck!" In the middle of the funeral, he breaks me this news. So now I'm dealing with the funeral emotions and my brother getting jammed up, and I'm like, God damn, I'm
Now, is this a light jammed up like you're supposed to
bruh,
be out, or
nigga
is
jam
at this fucking age?
at
Though,
this
that's
age, bro. So
that's
I'm
the
like,
real crisis.
so after the cemetery, I just shoot down to his crib, try to go put his life together and shit. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I'm dealing with that from like 2 in the afternoon all the way to 8 o'clock of nonstop, just trying to get his shit together. Um, but he ended up coming home the next day, same day that day I got there, and I'm just talking to
He's
him and
out.
shit
He's
like that.
golden.
I'm like, damn, bro, that weekend was so stressful, bro. I was like, then I'm it's Sunday. I go see my mom because I was supposed to see my mom that Saturday after the funeral. I was supposed to just swing by her side. I couldn't even do that because I was dealing with a whole bunch of shit. So next day I go see her, talk to her, and all that. Spending some time over there. Then it's time to go home. Driving home, right? Y'all remember a cadet, right?
Hmm.
That nigga upgraded me to a whole bitch this weekend.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, bro. That nigga went on a whole fuck Juno rant on his podcast. You know he got a podcast, right?
Yeah.
So
Why?
he went on a whole fuck Juno rant, bro. And I'm listening. I'm like, damn, this nigga in his feelings. And
Oh,
I can't.
they used to be on this podcast.
He's probably been the most returning guest. He's probably been on here like 4 times. And
Well,
they,
we did invite his ex on this podcast like at least 2 times. She was on there just maybe 2 episodes ago.
yeah,
But
but
I don't think we said anything bad about him
we
though.
know, yeah. I make sure I tell her before she come on. Nah, ain't gonna be no slander of nobody. So that's why. So it's not a big deal.
Yeah,
Uh,
okay.
that nigga went on a whole fuck Juno rant, bruh. And I'm
Sometimes you gotta get caught with the crossfire. You know what I'm saying?
so I'm laughing at it because I'm like, bruh, the shit I just went through this weekend. This is light.
Yeah.
This is like I can't even be mad. I was like, he in his feelings. Once he get out of it, we'll be all right, right? So I'm talking about a whole bunch of shit, bro. This nigga was going off how Juno's not good for the group. Juno is this. Juno's a bitch. Fuck that nigga. I'm like, damn, nigga, you must be hurt about this. I'm like, and then me. I got your number in my phone.
Yeah.
So after I hear his rant, I just simply call his phone. Of course, no answer.
Yeah.
No answer. So I'm like, yeah, I guess he don't want to talk. So I'm like, bruh, listen.
Cause that nigga a bitch. Cause that nigga a bitch.
All types of that nigga's a bitch. Fuck that nigga. I'm
Why?
like,
I'm gonna, okay. Can you explain to us because you're still being very vague? What's this issue?
I'm an energy person.
then after he said,
I'm an energy person.
I was like, okay.
Maybe your energy's all fucked up.
I guess my energy's bad. Like this is the first time I'm hearing that I have bad energy.
When you're a drunk, you make for a bad drunk if you're not used to it. I'll give him that. Maybe you're a bad drunk.
No,
That's the energy gets around you. Maybe you be with you when you're partying. So we've heard a lot of Juno's a dick when he's a drunk and stuff and shit. But
I
if you're used to, you're used to. Some of us are used to you.
listen.
So he ain't standing for it. You know
Listen, he brought up a whole bunch of shit, right? And none of it had to do with him at all. And it didn't affect him. He was talking about like, oh, this nigga's a bitch. He'll grab a bottle from behind the bar. I'm like,
yeah, that should be you in the bar. You in the.
I'm like, so
the club owner.
You defending Ember? You defending Ember? And I'm like, nigga, I grabbed that bottle. I don't drink the whole bottle, nigga. I bring that shit back to the group. We have a good time on that battle. So I'm like, bro, I don't even know, bro. Then he was like, oh, it's been 3 strikes. I usually give people 1 strike, but I gave him 3 strikes. Let me tell you his 3rd strike. I guess what his 3rd strike is, right? I know his 3rd strike. Let me tell you his 3rd strike.
Okay, I didn't want you jumping past the first 2.
The first 2, I guess, because you guys were probably here at that party I had when him and his ex fiance took off her ring and just sat it on the table and walked out.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, when they initially fell out. Yeah.
Yeah. So the next day he called me, right, to apologize about the whole situation at the party, and I was like, bro, you ain't got to apologize, blah blah blah. And then he's, you know, when people is talking to you and venting to you, and sometimes they'll hit you with the "you feel me."
Yeah.
And he hit me with a "you feel me" on something I wasn't feeling. And I just told him, nah, I don't feel that. And after I told him, nah, I don't feel that situation or that part of what you did, he got quiet and the conversation was pretty much over. I guess that's strike number 1.
Okay.
I don't know if her coming on the podcast was a strike number 2, but she never said nothing negative about him because I made sure I let her know ain't gonna be no slander of my dude on the podcast. You're not gonna
play devil's advocate. I'd say he said more about her than him when we had him on last.
Exactly.
Their actual breakup. He vented about her. When she came on there last before, it was more, we never talked about the breakup. It was more so about R. Kelly.
Right. She just come and talks about absurdities. So because
she never really focused on her old relationship much.
Exactly.
As far as we never really focused on that one. So I give that much.
So I guess the second strike was I don't know if that was one of the second strikes was her coming on the podcast or not. But the 3rd strike was we had a baby shower, right? We had Johnson baby shower. Johnson came on the podcast with him before. He remember when they 3 came on and I called them to engage because they were all engaged at the time.
Him, Johnson, and
Randy.
Randy, yeah.
So
good dude, Randy.
We go to Johnson's baby shower and Omega ended up coming, and she was pregnant at the time. She invited her baby daddy. Her baby daddy showed up, right?
Okay.
So now I'm gonna give you a description of her baby daddy coming to this baby shower, right? Jamaican nigga coming to party. You have the visual of a Jamaican nigga coming to party, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does he got the Jamaican soccer jersey on or dreads? I can't remember if he even had dreads.
Just picture Jamaican nigga coming to a party.
Yeah.
You have a visual of a Jamaican nigga coming to a party.
Okay,
so he comes, he's chilling. Everybody's just chilling, vibing. Everybody's just chilling. Then this nigga goes into a rage talking about that nigga has a gun on him. Whoa. He blah, blah, blah. We have guns too. And I'm like, after his little whole blow up and everybody leaves, everybody comes back to Omega's baby daddy goes home. And we all come back to the house, and he's still talking about he had a gun on him, blah blah blah. So me being the person I am, I told that nigga big cap. I told him big cap.
That's strike 2. I give him the strike 2.
I told him I said big cap, bro, because everybody in the party knew that nigga didn't have no gun. Jamaican nigga coming to party. You know how tight them Jamaican nigga clothes be.
Yeah, that's true.
So if he had a gun on him, everybody would have seen the gun.
Even if he had the gun, though, he's not there. Your ex doesn't have a necessary issue with you. Y'all just dated. If there's static there, he might have a strap aside, but it's not.
Bro, I understand.
Niggas go out with guns all the time. It's part of your Second Amendment, right?
Listen, I understand him being hurt about not being with her anymore because he did propose to her. She did say yes. They didn't get married. I get it.
Right.
I get it. I get it that you'll feel some type of way about her, but
yeah, my thing is that don't mean her boyfriend's an intimate threat to you, or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
And like everyone is still cool with his ex, but he has a problem with me being cool with her as well. So that's the part I don't understand. I'm like, so you telling me everyone around you is allowed to be cool with her and cordial with her, but if Juno is cool and cordial with her, Juno becomes a bitch. So I'm like, whatever, bro. I guess that was the third strike. And it's funny because, he started his podcast, the same week Waldo stopped coming to the podcast. What he do? What you think he did?
What?
Invite Waldo to his podcast.
All right. Well,
So I know his what's name. I know his motive behind it. He was trying to get Waldo to say some Juno's this, Juno's that. But Waldo don't have no reason to talk bad about me.
Well, we won't say that because he's not on the podcast anymore.
Okay, well he's gonna
Waldo letting you live. That's all.
Really?
If Waldo really wants to talk about the situation, we gonna talk because I told you guys the situation. Once we address that, he's not gonna address it. He's not gonna tell people that.
Well, either way, we're not here for Waldo.
I understand. So I'm just telling you another situation of this guy's bad motives to try to slander your boy. And I'm like, come on, bro. Now I'm a bitch. So it's all funny. I'm like,
cause that nigga a bitch. Cause that nigga a bitch.
So I laughed about it. Obviously, I clipped a couple of it, and it's if y'all want to hear the rant, go to their podcast. It's called Kennel Talk Podcast, episode 105, marker 3140. Y'all could go listen to his whole rant about how Juno's a fuck boy and a bitch.
Classic.
So
I will definitely check it out. I don't know why it was this issue.
Go check it out, bro, because I can't tell you why that nigga mad at me.
We black men, man. You can solve this.
It's not the thing. Like, what's the point of that? It's not like we're gonna ever get into a confrontation when we grown ass fucking people.
Yeah.
We're not gonna
gotta really talk it out and put everything out on the floor. Like,
we're not gonna fight. What's
the
the whole point? That's what I was thinking. I'm like, come on, bro. We grown ups, bro. But you have an issue with
if you feel some type of way, like let it out. Like,
bruh,
put it on the floor. Yeah.
So you caught us straight this week, but you don't realize how he brought you into the conversation this week?
I guess they were talking about friendships and shit like that, and then he just went off and said I don't fuck with this nigga. I don't even know how I would come into it.
Or maybe he been feeling that way for a while.
I guess he has, bro. So it is what it is.
I don't think that should just come out of nowhere and just,
that shit was
something that's been on.
Listen, I heard the anger in his voice, and I was like, this nigga mad. I was like, this nigga mad.
Look, I'm a bit more of a introvert. Like I stopped making friends. I'd say almost after high school. I got the few that I made during PCC, and I could name a few. And that's Didier, and that's because he was there my freshman year. Only a handful, and any other friends that I made along the way outside of people I grew up with was probably either through Juno, Nito, when we hanging out as a group, but. I stopped making new friends long ago, man.
Listen,
I'm already bad.
I met him in college, bro. I met him in college, so.
But even the folks I met in Orlando, they're generally through you. You know what I'm saying? Randy or even Cadet or anything like that. It's generally through you because I don't even meet new people like that. So I can't even tell you how I even have any vested interest on people that y'all don't know for too long because y'all don't really know each other like that. How can the person y'all don't really know that much be that disdained or that distraught?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. And it's
not that big of a serious. You might be like, all right, I thought you were this kind of friend. I'm gonna put you on different box, but it ain't that serious.
Listen, it's not. There's no issue between me and him. The issue is between him and his ex, and he's mad at me about some shit. Like I'm the one that told her to take off her ring and put that shit on the table and shit like that. You feel me? Like I can't make your ex not want to marry you. I have nothing to do with that.
You never instigated? Or?
No, not with his ex. With his ex, no. The first time I met his ex was at Ember. I sat there and talked to them for like 2-3 hours about relationship issues they were having. And at the end of the conversation, he told me, she's talking all this, but I already bought the ring. In my head, I'm thinking, ugh, you feel me? But
Don't do it. Reconsider.
but I didn't say that because nigga, you in love, you want to do your thing, do your thing. I wish you the best. It is what it is. I went to the engagement party, all that, but now he wants me to hate his ex, and because I don't hate his ex, is Juno's a bitch and fuck that nigga.
Cause that nigga a bitch.
Listen, I just mean it's not that serious in the point for y'all be calling people out the name,
Listen,
bitch or anything like that.
You know.
And the hood niggas get hurt for less. It's not that serious to be throwing those type of implications. You can be like, he ain't my cup of tea. It's not.
Listen, have you guys ever heard me talking bad about anybody?
No, definitely not people we know. Not like that to that extent.
I don't. There's no reason to because I could just handle it with you. That's why I picked up the phone. I called the dude. He didn't answer the phone. I already know he don't want to talk. So I'm like, whatever, bro. Once he get over his emotions and stuff like that, once he get over his emotions, it'll be cool.
I mean, you know, what can you do? If you can talk it out, you talk it out. If not, you know, you just go your separate ways. So,
we've been on separate ways because nigga don't want to talk. And once I heard,
I'm an energy person.
I said, oh, okay.
That's how it should be, man. Like we're too old.
I'm an energy person
to be having like hard feelings and beefs and stuff like that. Yeah,
but
I'm an energy person.
So, like I don't have anyone that I have any beefs with. You know, we can't square it away right then and
I don't
there.
have beefs with nobody, bro.
I don't know if there's anybody that don't like me. I have had people that didn't like me in the past, but you know, over time when you start winning, them niggas gotta swallow their pride and come back around. Hey, what up, man? Put me on this. That's what people do. When
Nate,
you keep winning,
that's the same shit I be on.
Niggas will follow suit.
Every time a nigga said listen, in the past 34 years of living, 3 niggas had an issue with me. This nigga, Waldo, and one other dude that I'm not gonna mention because he came and apologized to me. It was like, damn, Juno, my fault. I was my bad on that situation. You've always been good to me. You didn't even react badly when I was acting crazy. So I already know I'm not the problem. I'm not the problem.
That's what you got from it. That's it.
I'm not the problem, bro. So it is what it is. And hey.
Yeah, and that's my motto, man. Before you end up saying you don't like somebody or don't need it, just make sure you're never gonna need that person in every which way possible.
Yeah, man. So y'all go check out that fuck Juno rant, man. Kindle Talk podcast. Go check it out.
I'm definitely gonna check it out.
Episode 105. Make sure you write it down, Nate. If you need me to text it to you, I'll text it to you too.
Yeah, text it.
I'll share the episode with you. Ain't no problem.
Yeah, you text it to me too.
Ain't no smoke. I'm gonna send it to both of y'all, man, and y'all gonna look at it and be like, y'all gonna hear it and be like, damn, this nigga is angry because how that nigga said, cause that nigga a bitch. I was like, whoo, that nigga angry.
Cause that nigga a bitch.
Maybe it made for good content.
Hey, I'm all for content, bro. You know. We that's what we try to do is provide good content. I'm all for content out there, man. So
cause that nigga a bitch.
Yeah, man. So we got some new sound bites. Where's the fuck that nigga one, man? That one.
Ooh, there go our guest.
What up, Mayor? Hold on. Give me 1 second, Mayor. I'm gonna introduce you and all that. I just have to play one.
All good. Now I'm mad. I can't. I'm not there to see these visuals. Got a dope setup there.
Appreciate it. I've been working on it for a long time.
I feel you. And that roadcast is a beast, sir.
Oh yeah, I love this shit. This shit makes podcasting the easiest thing in the world.
Son, exactly. Ever since I got the freaking roadcaster. Oh, there you go. What up, Nate?
Yeah, what's good, man?
I finally made it down here, and I couldn't get over there, man. I couldn't really get too far away from the family and all that.
Yeah,
you picked a bad time. I can't get over there.
When you hit me with the message with, I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it. Can I Zoom? I was like, I already know what time it is. He probably told the wife. I'm gonna go shoot this podcast real quick. She was like, what?
Nah. I didn't even get. You know what it was? I didn't even get to that far. My inside conscious was like, nah. You know what? this is a family trip. If I had said this ahead of time, like, yo, when we down there, then it would have flew. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I turned down going to Tampa where my boy was, because the time we was gonna go, it was like the drive went from an hour and 20 to like an hour and 40 something minutes. I was like, yeah, I'm not going over there.
You would end up getting stuck in Tampa, because in Florida it rains all the time, so you would have got stuck in Tampa.
Yeah, well, I noticed, because every day we're scheduled down here, the shit said rain, but then the rain would like
it'll clear up.
It's drizzle and nothing.
Yeah. We have the midday showers around this time of the year, so at least one time during the day it rains every day during the summer.
That's what happened to us at freaking at what's the name at Magic Kingdom yesterday. Fucking it came down pretty hard like a couple times, and then it was just
and then it clear up.
It stopped, and then
yeah.
All right, let me introduce you, because we just jumped right into it. So, what up, folks? Y'all already know this is the mayor from the Starting Five podcast. We've been in contact for a long time. He's definitely been showing us love, and we've been supposed to link up there, down here, but it's never worked. And he's finally in Orlando, and we still have to Zoom.
One step closer. Yeah.
But
getting there.
It's all good. We fixed up the Zoom, and the setup is different, because we never done a Zoom while in the studio, so we definitely got this right for you.
Nice.
But
well, what up, everybody? It's me, the mayor, your boy, that DJ named Ace 5, your mom's favorite fat guy, all the way from deepest, darkest Africa, who, as Juno mentioned, decided to step out the jungles real quick to Staten Island and come down to the hot ass, crazy ass state of Florida. Good thing I haven't seen Florida Man yet, because I don't need my New York City streets mentality to kick in and have to take somebody out. But what up, y'all? Finally, man. It's been at least a good 4 years or so I've been down listening to y'all and shit, man. It's been a long time.
Man, it's been a while. But you say that with the Florida man. I remember the last time one of those Brooklyn guys was like, I'm from Brooklyn, and he was in Florida. And y'all remember that?
Oh, yeah. I remember that video.
Oh, dude, I got Brooklyn. Yeah.
The truck stop. Yeah.
Like,
that was the joint with the with the dude with the two white boys that knocked.
White dude.
It's different down here, man.
Nah, for real. Y'all niggas got guns. We got guns, but I don't have no guns up there. I like to live the legal life. I got 3 kids and a wife I got to worry about.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that.
That's it.
Family keeps you alive out here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Word up. I mean, to be real with y'all, I was never a knucklehead like that anyway, but I was more the defender type of dude. Like, I back up my friends if need be, man. Like, back in the day when I was in school and shit, like, I fought a dude one time he was a teammate, but I fought a dude one time because this kid didn't give him back his fucking video game cartridges. And I beat on this kid like a parent whooping on their child. Like didn't I tell you to give him back his Genesis games? Like, yeah, this is late 90s, so cartridges and Genesis games was still a thing.
No, we were on that knucklehead shit growing up, man. At one point, you know.
Yeah,
true indeed.
We got friends that lost to it. We got friends that still stuck in it. Just different aspects in different people's lives, you know, went different. Some of us went off to college. Some went to jail. Some still on that block, sadly so.
True indeed.
A handful went to college. Juno went straight to. Did you went PPCC with us and then went Church Orlando?
I wasn't the guy with the good grades that could go straight to a 4-year university. I had to pay my dues at the community college.
Yeah,
so I did my 3 years at the community college. Treated like.
But even then, it was only a handful of us that went to college. Like the majority of people didn't. It's kind of crazy. And that little bit of difference of just going to college or. Just the little difference that you make your right after graduation, dog. What you decide to do, be it go to the service, go to college, even get tied down to a lady, it could change your whole trajectory of your life.
All right.
No, that's fact.
Being on that block from 16 to 18, or 18 or 20, that could change your whole trajectory. I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I got friends whose lifestyles are a whole different than ours, all because just those little bit of differences.
No, that's facts. And I mean, good thing for me. Even though, you know what, I was gonna say good thing for me. I grew up with two parents who were still together, who actually live right next door to me and all that. But that doesn't even make a difference because, you know, two-parent households, kids still want to show out and still want to be the block
true.
boys, still want to be out there being knuckleheads. But my thing was I was afraid of jail. Like, I didn't want to go to jail. Like, that's my thing. Like, I used to spend my Saturdays watching Lockup just because that was a place I was curious about, but I never wanted to see it in person. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know.
I don't know. You know, when you're in the streets, jail's such an afterthought. They promote everything but the jail aspect of it.
Yeah.
You forget that it's really such a thing that can't happen, but it's really such an afterthought. You're doing so much knucklehead shit, and when really most of the stuff you're doing could land you in jail, but you don't even sit to think about it. You know what I'm saying?
No, word up. My thing is I've done 4 hours in the holding cell before for some dumb shit. I'll give y'all a story for the podcast. Stupid shit. Back when I had my first car, it was a 98 Eclipse Spider. I had it, this was like 02, 03. I think 03, because I think it was when I was first dating my wife. Like, we was in the first years together. And it just came out the shop. Like, it was sitting in the body shop right next door to me for like 3 months. All because the guy who at the shop didn't tell me that the fenders that I wanted didn't even come in yet. So when I finally got the shit out the shop, I was mad excited. I left work early. My boy was like, yo, come pick me up. So I picked him up back from work, same job we working together.
You got the convertible top.
Yeah, I had the convertible, not the non-turbo Eclipse though.
Okay.
And I went and picked him up. We was driving around. We was doing a normal loop around the projects close to the area where he lives. And I seen this kid who I worked with who was talking mad shit about my car because it was in the shop for so long. Meanwhile, this little nigga had his grandma's like 1989 fucking like Buick LeSabre or some bullshit. And he was always talking shit, yo, I'll race you. So when I seen him, I was like, yo, what up? And he was like, oh, I was like, come on, let's race. He just had he dumbass me. He was pointing the other way down the block. I take off the opposite way down the block, going like 70. I hit 70 about 3/4 of the way down the block. I didn't even pull the e-brake. I tapped the brake and spun the wheel sideways and hit a drift turn about 3/4 of the way down the block. Come sliding, I almost hit the parked cars. The parked car that I hit was two detectives in a gold Maxima.
Oh, man.
They pulled, I didn't even see beat people in the car. They pulled out, followed me up the block. I was like, oh, fuck, I got nervous. I slowed down, put 2 hands on the wheel, all that shit. I get to the top of the block, then they finally pull me over. These dudes were so heated, they called in another car that was in the street, all detectives. They called another car in. These guys were liking my car and was like, yo, come on, let him go. He made a mistake. Come on, let him go. Because they was digging my car. And now this is, quote unquote, Fast and Furious era times. So when my shit came out the shop, I asked the body shop guys to put a Blitz front bumper kit on my shit and side skirts. So my shit was looking mean with the top down. And these dudes was feeling the car. They call their field sergeant. The sergeant comes. We spent a good 45 minutes to an hour just standing on the back of my car while the 2 guys I almost hit were beat red in the face mad, while 3/4 of the other crew was just like, they wanted to let me go, right? It ended up happening to where this is how I got lucky. They let my boy drive my car home and they took me in. I spent a few hours in the holding cell. I didn't get no charges. I didn't get no tickets. They just let me go home after my shit came back from Albany clean, and I was good to go home.
Lucky you, because
Shit, for
I spent 6 days in that county jail, bro. Them shits was the longest 6 days ever. For a fucking violation of probation. I was on probation for some dumb shit as well. But 6 days in that bitch.
Yeah. Well, we grown up now. We good now. We are law-abiding citizens.
Yeah, we grown up, but I'm still getting hit by strays out here.
Fuck that nigga.
He said, fuck that nigga.
Because you didn't get the backstory, but one of the people that used to come onto the podcast, you probably know Cadet from the podcast. He used to come up here a couple of times.
Okay.
Yeah, he went on a fuck Juno rant this week on his podcast because he started the podcast. He went on a fuck Juno rant.
Fuck that nigga.
So that nigga was big mad at me.
It happens, you know.
Yeah, I guess that happens. I haven't gotten into no. Well, I was gonna say I haven't gotten into no podcast beef, but
this ain't a podcast beef. This ain't a podcast beef.
It's personal.
It's personal. Yeah, it's personal with him towards me, not me towards him or anything like that.
I got it. So it's a one-sided
Exactly.
mythical. You rent space in his head kind of beef.
Right, I'm living there for free.
All right, there you go.
Like
Rent
LeBron
free.
is living in Skip Bailey's head. I got that same deal LeBron got with Skip.
He got one of Gray's apartments. He's renting one of Gray's apartments with your memory in it.
Hey, I'm telling you, man.
Cause that nigga a bitch.
That nigga was on my ass the whole fucking time, bro. I was like, damn.
I'll get that story another day in full then. All right, cool.
Yeah, definitely.
So what do you got? You just checking out the attractions, or you going to like Disney and all that?
Yeah, family trip time, man. Is long overdue. My kids are old enough to enjoy the Disney aspect of things. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because
that makes a big difference.
Yeah, because last time I was down here was We pretty much came down because my oldest daughter turned 14 yesterday. So it was, happy birthday to my daughter Zaria. And last time we was here, she was less than a year old.
Oh yeah, that's a waste of a ticket.
And it was only her.
You want to be surprised how much money Disney gets off new parents, off kids that can't even ride the rides, and they don't even advertise that. It's just a giant waste of money, though. If the kids, I'll tell you, if you're not 8 and older, don't even bother bringing them.
The shit cost me $1,700 for the 5 of us for just 2-day passes.
Yep.
2 days of passes. I was just like, yo. And then because I bought it through my wife's company thing, so it was a little bit of a discount. Plus it threw the fast pass and all. The fucking fast pass ain't even a thing anymore.
Yeah, bro.
I was like, I kept saying that first day, I was like, they got over. My wife got tired of me saying it. She was like, do you want me to pay you back? I was like, no. I was like, no.
You can't complain. That goes.
Nah. But you know what? It literally is because, like I said, we haven't been down here since it was just me, my wife, and my oldest daughter. And when we came down here, that was we had to use plane tickets from a Vegas trip that we couldn't take the year before because my brother, me and my brother worked for the Department of Sanitation in the city. And so at this time, he thought he was balling, bought the whole family, like my side of the family, my mother, my father, my sister, me and the missus. He bought us a trip to Vegas, but my wife was 8 months pregnant at the time, so she couldn't get on the plane. So we couldn't go on that trip. We had 2 plane tickets to roll over into whatever we wanted, and we was like, you know what, fuck it, let's go to Florida. So we did the good old timeshare meeting for the free SeaWorld tickets. Yeah, we did that shit. But yeah, man, it was like, you know what, let's do this because I had the money, my wife had the money. We doing really, we're doing good last year, and just past due for like a flyaway family trip. And it was just like, you know what? Why not Disney? Why not?
The best thing is that you can go with the kids, that your kids can actually enjoy it, where you don't have to watch over them every time. You have to hold their hand because it's so crowded. That's
Yeah, to a point, yeah. But we stick together as a family. The kids stick together. They're not. My kids aren't wild out. Yo, I want to run all over the fucking park and lose their mind. Shit, like no. They either getting on a ride with both of us or like after a point yesterday, like we went to the Hollywood section of Disney last night for the park hopper. We did the park hopper shit, and I got to a point where I was just like, y'all go ahead. So my wife went on all the rides and shit. I was like, y'all go ahead. I just want to go to the Star Wars shit and get a lightsaber. And that was it.
Yeah, it's dope. That's dope.
So tell the folks how long you've been podcasting, how the podcast doing.
Cool, no problem. So I've been in this podcasting game for roughly 7 years now. It started back in the day in 2014 with my man LG. Shout out to my boy Lance. He was just like, yo, I want to get into this podcasting thing. Have you ever heard of it? I was like, not really, but I heard of it, but I'm not fully sure what it is. You know, I seen the app on my phone. I wasn't familiar. And he tells me, oh, it's like doing a radio show, but we're recording and all that. So I was like, I always wanted to do a radio show. Let's do it. So that was it. We I bought like the first set of equipment. He bought his side of equipment. And we started off as Talking My Team. The name was his. It never sat well with me because it just felt bland and corny. And this ain't shit that I haven't said to him before.
What made y'all into sports though?
I'm gonna get to it. It was started Talking My Team, and it was just a football show. So we was doing it. We was being consistent, and then we hit a lull where he was. It got to where we couldn't get together in the same spot. So we tried to figure out a different way to record, different things on how to record. So I went through a million different ways on how to record a podcast. But in the time, we changed the name to the fourth quarter because I felt the fourth quarter was a little bit more representative of football, which we were only talking football at the time. And it was a better name. It just was a better name than just Talking My Team. And it opened up to talking more about the game of football than just what people could assume is, oh, we're only going to talk about the Eagles and the Cowboys. Cowboys is his shit. I hate them. So things happened to where it was like, okay, we started losing consistency. He started a clothing line. I kept this. I was like, yo, since we're not recording much anymore, my man JP was like, yo, I always wanted to do a radio show. I was like, well, I got the podcast. Let's do it with me. Let me talk to my man Lance first, and let's see what we could do. I talked to Lance. I was like, yo, you got the clothing thing going on. My man wants to do this. You know, I wanted to expand into more things than just football. So he was like, go ahead, rock out. You got this over here. 2015, the starting five was born. And the starting five, it consisted of sports, politics, and hip hop. 3 things that both of us know pretty to a good extent. Like I'm more the hardcore football guy. My man JP was the more basketball guy. We're both track and field guys. We both met in the hip hop discussion group on Facebook, which is now, if you fast forward to 2018, it's now a business that myself and 4 other partners own. And you know, we met through the hip hop discussion group. We know hip hop culture. We know rap music, and politics is something that we both know. You know, for years. Like we can be heavily entrenched in politics over time, and so that was the basis of what the starting five is. Over the years, we've had a number of different guests. Like the biggest guest to me that we've had so far was DJ Ralph McDaniels of Video Music Box fame it's a New York kind of local New York City video music show that is still running to this day on like public access TV and all that.
You're talking about the box from back in the days when you calling it down.
No. The box, the box was totally different. No, Video Music Box was like it was almost a precursor to what you've seen on MTV, but for hip hop. Okay. And for black culture, for hip hop, shit like that. Look it up, and you, like I said, you'll see Ralph McDaniels is still going to this day. And then my man Will Strickland, who he does a dope podcast called what the fuck? Damn it! I was just listening to his damn show, freaking The Open Run. My bad. Those are like the two like most biggest names. My man Will Strickland is like he's a long time industry vet, and then also I missed out this close on having Combat Jack on my show.
Oh, I was just about to ask you what is your favorite podcast you listen to, because I know that's the thing I'm in the podcast was Combat Jack, but okay.
Yeah, that was. Well, I'll give you some of my favorite. My favorite podcasts are people that I look at that are on my level. Like I support more of the people who are not the big name people, because they're the ones who got into this shit because they seen a bag. I support like you guys, and all the fuckery that y'all talk about that be having me scream at the damn my phone. Like, what are y'all niggas saying? But I love it. Like, son, like y'all don't even know. And I wish I was in person just so y'all could see the authenticity of my face and what I mean. But like, I'm sitting there listening to y'all like, yo, y'all niggas bugging. Y'all are wilding. But I agree. Damn, Gray, come on, Gray. Stop talking over Nate for a few minutes. I know you want to get your point, but damn it. Juno, you there? Juno, you there? You talking? Because Juno, you fall back. And then you chime in, and then you fall. But I love what y'all do. Like, so y'all are on my top of like favorite shows to listen to. My boy B-Rob, Random Ramblings with Rob. He's another favorite of mine. He's a guy who I actually had come up to Atlantic City to be a part of a panel discussion about podcasting and content creations that I host. My bad, y'all. I'm outside this hotel because this is where the best reception is.
Okay.
So Random Ramblings with Rob. For a famous one, Spears and Steinberg. Ari Spears' podcast is dope. He does it with this Jewish guy, Andy Steinberg.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's my shit.
I felt that should have been bigger than it was from when he started, because he only started Spears and Steinberg not too long ago.
Maybe 2 years ago. Maybe 2 years ago.
Is
he was ghost for a long
Spears
time.
the nigga that got washed up on camera one time? Is that the same Spears?
Yeah.
That was a
on
that was a
that
sad
sucker
moment.
on that sucker shit. But
you know, hit him off,
but it is what it is. But but that's one of my favorite. That's one on the popular end. Like that's one of my favorite joints. I'm a huge professional wrestling guy, so I listen to Busted Open. And then I like my man B-Rob does I support people that, like I said, mostly I support people on our.
Now I get you're saying now, but I'm just saying before. What got you into it? Were you already? A listener of podcasts prior before you got it?
No, what got me into it was what the story that I led into how the Starting Five was born.
Okay. So
I wasn't listening then. Nope. I wasn't listening then. It was just my man said, let's do it. We cracked the mics and that was it. But over time, I listened and learned from the Combat Jack show a lot. There was this nerd culture show of I'm not going to mention their name because they're no longer. Plus, I felt some shady shit from them eventually that they cut me off without even, and I noticed the bullshit. They cut me off and didn't even say nothing.
There goes your podcast beef. You remember you thought you have one. There you go.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, it's not really a beef because once again, this is another one-sided thing.
Right.
And there's a story behind that will go off air that I could tell y'all about one day and how that disconnection happened. But ironically enough, through that connection of podcasts, I've met so many other people out of Philadelphia, like my peoples from the Garble podcast. That's another favorite of mine. Ladies Love Hip Hop, my homegirl Summer. That's another favorite of mine. Plus, I helped her in the beginnings of kicking off her podcast. Like, so I've grown to where it's like, I have so many that I listen to. I have a routine that I listen every week that drops every certain day. I'm on it. I'm listening. All I do is listen to podcasts. I barely can tap into new rap albums because I absorb this podcasting thing so much. And I absorb it because I listen to everybody else to learn. It's like my game film. Listen to other podcasts is like my game film. What did they do that I can utilize and add to my thing? What did they do to make me say, nah, I'm going to stay the fuck away from that? And, podcasting, I love this game. I love it so much that my future plan for when I retire within 5 years is to open my own radio station. But the radio station is going to be a station of podcasters and giving podcasts like you guys and all the smaller names that aren't out there, like the Joe Buddens and the Joe Rogans and stuff like that. Give people a shot on a station that gets programmed every day within a certain block of time, or maybe for a full 24-hour block, that you got a spot to shine and have your shit out there consistently. I want to be able to create a space for people who are like me that didn't get looks from bigger names, who didn't get looks from sponsors off the top and all of that. Like, I want to be that person. I want to be that facilitator to help us all broaden our reach further than what we do right now. So that's how much I love this podcast.
That's dope. You're an OG podcaster where you had to get the mixer and the mics and stuff like that and actually have a setup versus nowadays all you need is an app on your phone and you got a podcast.
Yeah, that's
it's a different feeling when you have equipment versus you just have a phone and you got a podcast to me.
Bruh, but it's a totally different feeling. But here's how my show works. It's still by phone. It's still just by laptop because my partners, my boy TJ lives upstate New York. My partner JP, who I started the show with, lives in Burlington County, New Jersey. And then the woman of the show lives down here.
Oh, okay.
In Florida.
Wow.
So there's no way we could get together in person in studio.
Right.
And I've learned this over the years, like I said, of experimenting, trying so many multiple different ways of recording. Excuse me. Like one of the ways we was recording this way for almost 2 years, we were using a free conference calling line.
Mm. We used to do that.
Because JP didn't have the equipment to do. He still don't have the equipment, but over time we've progressed from Zoom, what we was doing the free conference line, to listening to people say, yo, how can I call in? How can I be a part of this? How can I be a part? So we did Blog Talk Radio. I did Blog Talk Radio for 2 years. I realized I was washing $50 a month down the drain because the same fucking people who asked me, how could they be a part of the show? How could they be a calling guest? Motherfuckers wasn't listening.
Yeah, that's how the game goes.
Yeah, and so I
you have a lot of supporters until it's time to actually show up and put $1 out. Because you got so many people ask us for merch, so I started the merch. Got like 3 orders. I'm like, God damn, all y'all niggas else asking me for merch? I got 3 orders, and it was none of the people that was asking me.
Yo, but what's ill about that though still is like, all right, you got the 3 orders, but it's like, yo, 3 people bought my shit. It still feels good because somebody copped.
It definitely feels good shipping them out.
Yeah, it felt good because somebody copped.
That's what he needed those 3 to humble him a bit for years when we was out here promoting my music and getting the slim returns. He had his struggle rapper jokes, so he needed to pour his creativity in and see poor returns in.
Nigga, I was out there passing mixtapes with you, nigga.
Yeah, but you had a lot of struggle rapper jokes. So
I might have jokes, but I'm still gonna do the work and support, nigga.
You didn't know it was like that.
But that's real though, because hey, you know what? You still my mans. I still love you, but you got to eat these jokes.
Yeah,
you're still gonna get these jokes.
See, and I know Nate's not a sensitive dude, so I could. Nigga, when we get around each other, it's nothing but ranking on each other. Ranking is jokes on each other in Florida.
I know what ranking is. I'm older than y'all.
Okay.
I'm older than y'all. I know ranking. See, now I'm not old enough for the dozens, but I'm 41. I'm old enough, so I understand.
Okay. You're not that too much older. You got about 4 or 5 years older than me. So
yeah, I got y'all beat. I got y'all beat on my.
You got me by almost a decade. We ain't gonna talk about that. But speaking of,
I told y'all though. I know I said it before in one of the voicemails. Y'all gotta play some more OG Nate P on the end so we can laugh a little more.
listen, we had to stop. We had to stop playing the music. We could play OG stuff because we won't get flagged for it. But once we started getting at least more people listening, I started getting flagged about the music, getting letters from Universal Group, getting letters from RCA. I'm like, God,
you
damn,
got to pay
bruh.
that sync. Yeah, they got.
No,
you got to pay that fee.
I'm fully aware. Trust me, because one of my best episodes where we was talking about best diss tracks, and I made the brazen attempt to play Jay-Z's Takeover at the end.
Oh yeah,
the best.
Those get you down quick.
Yeah,
I had to delete like 80 episodes because of music.
What?
Because I was like, I don't want no smoke.
Yeah,
Once
word.
they started writing the letters, I just deleted them. Said fuck it.
I've been teaching people ever since, don't ever play Jay-Z music. As much as we love Hov, don't ever play his music on your shit. Shit will
gonna hit you up.
ripped down ASAP.
Don't play Jay-Z. Don't play Rihanna. Don't play Drake.
Drake,
you'll get a call before you even upload the episode. They'll
Like, you ain't from Toronto.
You get that call from Baby.
Do it.
Yeah, but
He said the call.
You know
the call from Baby.
Yeah.
Hey Playboy. Hey Playboy.
and you can
Don't
just
do that
picture
there,
him. You can
Playboy.
just picture him doing this, and I'm gonna need that paper, Playboy, if you want to keep that episode, Playboy.
Straight Birdman hand rubs.
What's dope? Spotify, I think through the Anchor app now has something where you can interject the music into your podcast.
Right, I saw that.
Yeah.
too.
But
Well,
but it's from their list of music though.
It's
From the list that you can pull down in there.
See, the difference.
okay.
The difference with us is we've been doing it before Anchor was even out.
Yeah.
So
True
we're
indeed.
not even
Yep.
on that platform to where we could just integrate it like that. So,
Yeah, you'd have to go back. Yeah, it's too much work now, but I'm just saying
it's
it's
too
too
much
much work.
but speaking of famous guests and on your podcast, let me tell you, the most famous person I tried to set up and got the yes from was TK fucking Kirkland.
Nice.
I got the yes
What?
from TK Kirkland, but that nigga hit us with a good finesse. He was like, I'm gonna come through. Yeah, all I need from y'all is to promote the show I got in Orlando and try to sell some tickets. And I was like, cool, bet, no problem. We could do that. I hit up everybody I know. I was like, hey, promote this show that's coming up. Promote this show that's coming up. And we promoted it in Orlando. 2 days before he was in Orlando, I'm hitting him up. No answer. No answer. He comes to Orlando. I hear him on the radio. I hit this nigga up. I'm like, you still doing the show? No answer. I'm like, you know what? Fuck that. I was like, I was like,
Fuck that nigga. Fuck that nigga. Fuck that nigga.
Yeah, I got one of those too. Juno. Was it 3 years ago? I went to New York Comic Con with the family.
Oh man, I've never been to that either.
I spent $140 on all of the volumes of DMC's comic book from Run DMC.
Yeah.
Got his number from him. He said, yeah, sure, I'll do it. I can't do it this week, but check on me in like a week or two or so and I got you. Week or two comes, yo, Daryl, what's up? Can I get on? Nothing. I sent another text message. Nothing. That was it. I've learned to stop chasing.
yeah.
I don't chase.
Once he
I
didn't
don't
respond
chase.
the second time, I was like, you know what? I ain't gonna hit you. I ain't gonna hit him up no more.
That's it.
Because when it was time for him to say, hey, promote this show, he was real responsive.
Yeah,
They always are.
Once it's time to show, not responsive. So I was like, all right, as part of the game. I was like,
I give
Absolutely.
TK his props. Now TK like 60 years old, still pulling those finesse on promoters. Still
Yeah,
getting his boy. He's still pulling the fast one over on his young boys.
I'm telling you, man, I done set it up. I done set it up to get him a car service to pick him up from his hotel, bring him to the studio. I had to cancel all that because it was like nigga didn't respond. So I'm like, at least good thing he didn't respond, so I didn't have to spend that bread that I was gonna spend to have them come to the thing, because of course you don't pay people to interview on a podcast or anything like that.
As you shouldn't.
There's little costs, like if the person's not from Florida, you get them a car service to get them over here and shit like that. Just small accommodations, but luckily I didn't have to come out of pocket with that, so it's all love.
No, but you know what you said. But at least you understood the game and how you got to play it for the next time. Like you understood. All right, cool. Like they're not asking you to put them up, nothing like that. But something as simple as knowing, all right, get them a car to get here and get them back out of here safe and sound and all that. You at least you know the steps for next time. At least you were thinking ahead for that time. So for the next time, hopefully the next person fucking complies instead of flaking out.
Hopefully. And,
Word up.
I never went on a fuck TK Kirkland rant or anything like that. Kept it professional. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you know what? You never know that there could be a next time. Right. Especially with a person like that, there could be a next time. But if they were to strike you a little bit more personal, then it's yeah. You gotta give it to them. You gotta let them have it. You gotta let them have it.
I agree. And I went to the damn show. I went to the show and I was still supporting and all that. I was like, yeah, I ain't even gonna take no picture with this guy. He done flaked on me.
Let me guess you. He ended up with that "Who raised you" joke.
Yeah, it's all the same 10-year jokes. The jokes just
more than 10 years, 20, 30 years jokes been running.
Yeah,
well, at least 20 years.
And I kind of ruined it for the people I was with because I knew all the damn jokes. And I'm throwing out the punchlines before TK throwing punchlines. So I kind of ruined the show for the people that I was with because I already knew all the damn jokes. But it's all love.
Yeah, well, and then if he'd have called you out on that, then that's when you flexed on him like, nigga, you supposed to come to my podcast.
Yeah. Who raised you, TK?
Yeah, I would have to hit him with the "Who raised you."
TK is one of them podcasters, one of them comedians that have been getting away with it. That's why I'm not a big fan of Michael Blackson. Some of these people have been doing the same comic sketch for almost 20 years. You know
and that's why, and these folks, they're the ones that'll give a comedian like Kevin Hart a hard time.
Yeah, talk about he's not a real comedian. I'm like, you're not a real comedian. I like,
well, because that's a bad example. He's not that funny.
It's not a thing that's funny.
He's not that funny, but he's not gonna hit you with the same jokes from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
He's gonna
a good comedian's always working new stuff.
Right,
but you gotta have those things like you mentioned that you gotta have them in the tuck because those are tried and true and fully tested go-tos.
What I'll find is there's the goats have the new stuff. Majority of comedians are using recycled stuff. Most of those comedy comedians have the same thing from 20 years ago. And that's the majority of them that we know by the black people that we love. It's just that's why they don't allow you to record their show on YouTube and all. They weren't meant for this era.
No, well, all these comedians do the same stuff for years because, like I said, those are the tried and true things that they know that the audience is looking for. When you get new material from older comics, generally they're touring around working out new material.
Right,
Correct.
That's right.
They're usually touring to work out new material. So you might get that freaking that new joke about a Tesla shutting down in auto drive, and then you'll get the baby mama joke after. Because you know it, you know what I'm saying?
But that's why I like a Kevin Hart or Cat Williams because they have consistently dropped stuff. Not every special is gonna be hilarious, but as long as you got more than 2 or 3 of their belt, you're a GOAT to me. Once you got more than 2, because these other guys, not only that, they never even had a special. If you look at a lot of these comic guys, and they're still running around doing the same jokes from 20 years ago. I'm from the hip hop space where you do mixtapes. Artists, you're forced. Can you imagine an artist, a rapper trying to work the same single from 20 years ago?
Yes, because the OGs that we grew up on can do full tours. Nowadays,
because they're that shit. But that's off the I'm saying. But I'm not talking about they're not re-releasing it as it's a new, you know what I'm saying, as a new package. Yeah.
No, you can't do that in music though, unless you are quote unquote remastering it and re-releasing it for the new era. You know, like reasonable doubt turned 40 or something, and we're bringing it back remastered with a new joint that's new to us that didn't make the cut when it originally came out.
I'm of the mind that failed rappers should probably start trying comedy, because with their rapping work ethic, you dominate comedy. One of these days, I might have to throw my foot in the comedy.
Yeah, no lie. It's still that comedy is still a thing that I want to attempt eventually. And I'm in the city where there is comedy clubs all over the place.
Yeah.
It's just I haven't had public speaking. I've grown out of where I could do it. Like I mentioned, I host a panel discussion for content creators. This podcasting thing helped me crack public speaking. Like I can, the only thing I still don't have, which I'm not concerned with because I'm married. I still ain't got no game to bag women. That's all I don't have. But the nerves to get on stage to do comedy is still something that eventually I want to do, because I have a book in my car that I started maybe 20, almost 20 years ago, a black and white notebook of shit that I wrote then that in some respects could still be relevant now.
Oh yeah, that's
but I just haven't tried to work it out anywhere.
And that's the one thing I do like about comedy, that they're the only circuit that always have the open mic nights, the free tryout. They're always trying to get new people in there for the cheap. So you can go in there and work it out. You can suck and get good. They don't give they won't give you that in hip hop. There's not because in hip hop half the time you're performing, you have to pay to perform.
Yeah, in some spots, yes. And
hip hop isn't as forgiving. You know what I'm saying? It's not as forgiving, and you have to pay to perform a lot of the times in that aspect.
All right, quick introduction. I remember going to Nate's first live show.
Let's hear it. Let us hear it.
My nigga Nate was on that stage nervous as fuck, and he had somebody he was featured on the track. He's just looking at the person featured on the track. He's not looking in the audience or none of that. Nate is just nervous as shit.
I was a little nervous. Very nervous.
Bomb and just looking at his partner rap, and he just I'm like Nate up there fucking up. Nate up there fucking up. I already know that. them jokes was coming, nigga. Them jokes was coming.
Yeah, but I was gonna say to that though, like part of what Nate was saying with the whole, some people got paid to perform, things like that. See, environments like that though, you're usually bringing your crowd in with you. And the one thing that hurts a rapper, especially a rapper, is the fact that your friends could be your yes men and would be cheering you on while legitimately you're up there spitting whack shit that your friends are gassing you up to make you feel like you said something dope and realistically you suck. But the flip side is it still kind of helps you get the confidence to even get on stage and deliver.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Because kind of like the boxer, you know how the manager lets you fight the scrub fighters first to build your confidence up. Yeah, you're right. And
or like battle rap, which that's another field that I spent 4 years in. The battle rap game, they for at least a decade now have went away from judged battles.
I wonder why is that?
I think I'll give you explanation as I formulated in my head in a second after the point. But the battle rapper that sucks ass and gets 30-pieced will still act like they won because they know it wasn't judged. And I think, to what I was told, why they don't judge battles too much anymore is because they don't want to, some leagues don't want to create like a ranking system where you're 0-2, 0-3, because then that could stop. No, because then that could stop that person's booking. Okay. And then that could possibly stop that person from eating. Plus, the next performance could be a dope one, even though you're 0-5. The next one could be that one that turns the table. So I think it kind of plays into not to just a rapper's ego, but I think it plays into the want to. Well, no, it plays into the ego because it gives them the confidence of wanting to do more, wanting to do better.
Here's a number 3. Without a big judge, it makes the fans have to judge. Therefore, more clicks, more viewership.
Right.
So you go in there and decide.
Okay.
Because there's some battles we see, we're like, ain't no way this dude won. What is he talking about? You
understand? Exactly. Like for instance, I can give you. Yeah, like for instance, I used to work for Rare Breed Entertainment, Rare RBE. Shout out to RBE. The dudes who started that league are 2 cats that I went to high school with. They were a year before me, but shout out to ARP and shout out to 2 solid dope brothers who built an amazing platform. Like they are like top 3 battle rap platforms in the world right now. Mm-hmm. And back in 2015 or 2015 in the second year, I was one of the cameramen on what was kind of known as the battle of the year between Oops and Daylight. Okay. Go back to that battle and try to see who won. But when you get to the 3rd rounds of each, it didn't even matter who was a winner or loser. The whole crowd won because the shit that these brothers dropped on their 3rd rounds, fucking amazing.
Okay.
Fucking amazing. So that's a battle that you sit back and be like, yo, this one's a tie. This one's a tie. But then there's other ones that are just clear, flat out. This nigga got smoked. Meanwhile, the person who got smoked is still walking off the stage like, nah, son, I won that. I won. Nah, nigga, you didn't. Nah, nigga, you didn't.
That's the one thing about battle rap is I feel like almost everybody has a certain time in the culture where they deep dive in. It's like a rabbit hole. One time sometimes you're just in it. You're watching a bunch of it. Then you fall off for maybe a couple months or a year. Then you come back and see if your guy's still winning. It's like no one holds the belt for too long. You know what I'm saying? And so now I haven't watched it in a while, so there's too much new guys in it to me. That's it.
Who's your favorite battle rappers?
There's too many whack battle rapper names too. Like that's what kills me. Is these battle rappers' names be just like ass. I can't even think of so many of them. They be like fucking like niggas be named like Chest Cheetah, like like dumbass names, but favorite battle rappers right now, like I haven't been too in tune. So I'm still like Oops is dope. Oops is dope because I shot him. I've shot who the fuck have I just missed out on getting Murder Mook on my resume.
I don't think I've ever seen Mook lost. He might be the only one, and he was like the first one I ever got on. I don't think I've ever seen him lost. At the most a tie, but I've never that's the. But he fights so sparingly now.
Yeah, because you got to have the bag for a person like him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing is like these cats can command some serious money. The cats that are nice, like
Loaded Lux could have went to that route too, but he has.
The bag. He has, but he's back now a little more.
Yeah, he was almost undefeated, but then he started going after the bag, and it gives people the chance to check you out and start seeing the chinks in your armor, and then they start, When he went the woke route, when he was talking about, you gonna get this work, talking about blackness, I like how you gonna defeat that? The what he's speaking on, how you gonna talk down on that? Then he went against what's his dude, Raspy dude that beat Joe Budden,
Hollow the Don.
Hollow Don. When Hollow Don picked apart his whole rhyme scheme, saying what he's gonna say, I like that's the thing. When you show out too much, people get to see you and then not get a premise for you. And I like, damn. So Hollow, that's the one that I think he did lose to Hollow because Hollow was ready for him.
But the thing about shit like that, though, is that doesn't mean the next man's going to be able to do it.
That's true, because I think he beat Charlie Clips after that. You're right. So it just depends.
That don't mean the next man. But Charlie Clips is another one that I shot him to, and
he's nice.
He's fucking dope.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking everything you see about Goods on stage is Goods. Goods is fucking nice. Goods is nice.
Yeah, Goods another. Goods is one of my favorites. He used to rap super fast though, and the only reason I noticed it is another rap picked up the Zip 'Em Up. That was his punchline.
Oh, K-Shine.
And
I never shot him. But I did shoot DNA.
DNA is a fucking monster.
One of them.
Yeah, DNA is a fucking beast.
Because it's off. Because when he needs to flip off top, he doesn't miss a beat.
Exactly.
His
and
rebuttal
he's
game
nasty.
is crazy. His rebuttal game is crazy.
Yeah.
But speaking of rebuttal games, the Christian rapper, which I hate Christian rap, but A-Ward, that kid is nasty. He's nasty. Who else? I've shot so many cats, like lesser known names. There's this cat named Heavy Half out of Chicago. The kid is nice, but I've had to pull him aside in some battles and kind of coach him because I'm not a rapper, but I know battle rap. I know rap. I understand the performance aspect. So I've had to coach him in ways and be like, yo, you gotta like, he has a thing where he starts like this and it goes up like this. But then when he gets to like second and thirds, it kind of dovetails back down where it's like, yo, you gotta learn to pace yourself and pace your cadence through a rhyme because the shit will hit more if you pace yourself properly. And I think he's heard me and has done better over the years. And that kid Heavy Half is nice. There was a cat named Jims who he does more battle rap blogging than battle rapping. Okay. But he was pretty nice. I shot the battle where him and Goods fought on stage. That's the
one thing I hate. I hate when rappers they get in the actual physical altercation. Who's buddy I used to punch niggas on? He punched at least 2 people. And
Matt Hoffa.
Matt Hoffa. I cannot stand that, man.
Matt Hoffa is another dude that I've shot several times.
I can't stand that.
He's nice.
And the fact that he still gets bookings, like I felt automatically, uniformly, when he hit the first person, no league should have picked him up ever again. The fact that he was able to do it at least twice is crazy. I feel because he's an actual street dude, just like the streets, there's politics, they're allowing it in. But ain't none of that. It shouldn't be.
It should be tame.
It should be. Because
I've been the one, my bad, I'm sorry to cut you off. But the one battle that happened that was a fight was Goods versus Jims on stage in front of me. Other than that, like when Matt Hoffa came back, like one of the first battles after his second one that he came back to was with RBE. And you have to, the league owners got to put in the contracts, which they did put in the contracts. Like if anything goes on, you lose your whole bag, you lose everything, all that. And Math has since made penance. He's, when shit like that happens, like you have to apologize to the venues, to the league owners, things like, so the dude is doing his own shit. What is it? My personal opinion or my expert opinion on YouTube now? He's killing it right now. He's doing his thing with his podcast and the barbershop and all that.
That's cool.
Math is doing his thing.
It is his own lane. I just felt like he should have never had a lane in battle rap after he hit it, man. That's like almost dopey. You know
I dig it.
Yeah, you gotta be able to control your emotions because in battle rap is the most disrespectful form of rap.
Yeah.
So you should be able to control your emotions and know that this is all a sport, bro. We can't be fighting.
Exactly. Think of Arsenal, probably the most disrespectful rapper out there.
Yeah. I've shot Arsenal several times, and one of the most disrespectful things I've heard him. Who did he battle? Her name was QB Black Diamond.
Oh, when he went against girl.
Yo, when he battled QB Black Diamond, the disrespect was just holy shit. But QB threw it right back. It's like she was like the female Arsenal. Like as far disrespectful, QB was fucking. But the most disrespectful thing I've ever shot. Go back and look up. What the fuck is her name? Damn it, I forgot her name. But it was an RBE.
Two girls.
It was an RBE battle. No, it was an RBE battle, and she went up against what's homie from St. Louis's name? The most famous dude out of St. Louis, except for Hitman Holla.
What's that nigga name?
God damn, why am I drawing a blank? But point. No, not Surf. Surf is from Jersey.
It's the
Averb.
Yeah, because they were all popping at the same time. Sue Surf, Averb.
Averb versus this girl that I'm drawing a blank, and I'll probably remember it later. But this chick pulled out a dildo in the battle on him and was waving it in his face, and there was nothing he could do about it. And it was one of the funniest, most disrespectful things I've ever seen in person at a battle ever. And I shot it. The battle was in the basement of this clothing store in the Bronx. It was one of the small room things when we was doing small room stuff when I worked at RBE. I'll remember her name eventually, but I think Miss Godiva was her name.
She hit that
But
nigga with
yeah.
the how much dick you want, huh?
Oh,
How much dick you want, nigga?
Look up that battle. I think it's Godiva versus A Verb, and yeah, disrespectful. Oh my goodness,
I
she
seen
pulled
one.
out a fucking dildo on dude.
I seen one a couple months ago. Dude was going so hard at the woman, though. I kind of felt like it was. I felt bad as a black man. I protect the black man. Like he was calling you a big boss type of bitch. You know what I'm talking about? He kept ending on the bitch. You know, you a refrigerator looking bitch. You get all his lines. You know what I'm talking about? He came out literally.
Oh yeah. I think I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
Bro, that shit was fucking vicious, bro.
But with
I
Was
like,
it
bro.
against? Was it official that he
It
was
was an
rhyming
official
against?
one. Oh yeah.
No, it probably
No,
was
official
official.
is her name.
Yeah, it's,
Oh, I
Official
don't
is her
remember her
name.
name. I don't remember her name, but bro, it was so disrespectful. Like it was all about her appearance too.
Yeah,
So it's not
yeah.
like she could do anything about. You know, bro,
Bro.
it was just, bro. Like, bro, this is just mean.
listen,
bro.
when it's a dude versus a chick, bro, it'd
Oh,
be
man.
unfair, bro.
Yeah.
bro,
It's
It be-
no, but
it
these
be-
women be holding their own though.
They do, but like,
But the men do
Yeah.
have the upper hand. Yeah.
and it's like they hit him with like the you suck dick and shit. I'm like, nigga, that's what's wrong with that?
yeah. Well,
But it still comes out so disrespectful.
Yeah, when you make fun of the girl's appearance, that you can do about. Talking about you built like a box truck, bro. He was leaning on all that, bro. This is disrespectful, bro. And he kept saying, "Go keep going," and he would go back in.
Hey, but like we said before though, you knew what you was getting into when you
Yeah.
signed up for it.
yeah.
I almost didn't want to raise this dude's hand after that, bro. This is overkill, bro. It was hard to watch, bro.
you signed the contract.
Yeah, man.
Signed the contract. But yeah, man, like Swave Sever is another ill one that I've shot before. He's an ill rap, but he's an ill rapper in general. And like I know from y'all taste, y'all probably haven't heard his music much because y'all be on that mainstream shit. I know I'm a fan of your show. I hear what y'all be talking about. But Swave Sever, he used to rhyme like he was quote unquote underground with he used to rhyme with Poison Pen and a whole bunch of cats. You know, the whole Team Hami and shit like that. Rest in
Who
peace,
out here is
PH and all
a
that.
fan of mainstream hip hop? Who? Nate or Gray? Because I know it ain't me. I'm listening to Papoose over the weekend and shit like that.
Yeah, they consider Papoose mainstream.
That's another person. I
He was a beast in
wouldn't.
his era.
But Papoose, he was supposed to show up on my other podcast, HADG Media, the podcast. We had maybe a couple months back, we had this guy, Jay Swift, and his son, Jay Swift Jr. We had them on the podcast. And this dude, Jay Swift, was like, he's very well connected in the industry. And one of the people who he helped get on was Papoose. And he reached out to Papoose to try to come on the show. But Papoose, while he was on, but Papoose was busy and I guess missed the call, or he was talking to him, was too busy to jump on with us. But he was gonna come on our podcast. And that same dude, Jay Swift's, also got us connected with Knots, the producer. So eventually we're supposed to get Knots on that podcast also. We trying to work out here. We ain't famous.
Papoose was on fire when he first came out, when he first dropped, when he was with K Slay.
Yeah. And then I know a lot of people who feel a way about him. They're not the biggest fans of his. Like, I'm not the biggest fan, but I'm a fan of his. Like, I listen.
The thing is, with Papoose, he doesn't have the full cool factor, but lyrically, and I think that's what's tying him over. But lyrically, this motherfucker's a beast.
Yeah,
his wife, on the other hand, has the whole package. She's cool, but she can't outrhyme Papoose to me. But she has the whole package. She's cool.
Yeah, well,
she
came out under pun.
Exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
you need an alley-oop.
Yeah.
Come
Papoose is a beast, but like I said, he almost it's like I said, sometimes you just don't have that it factor to carry him over. But bars wise, this man's a monster.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Y'all want to jump in some absurdities this week?
Let's see what y'all got. It's finally time for me to get absurd with y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all already know what the big ticket is this week.
Go ahead, launch it.
Huh?
What's the big ticket?
Big ticket, Taliban, nigga. Them Taliban boys came and took their shit back.
Yeah.
Soon as the USA walked out, them motherfuckers was walking in.
I respect it. They playing the long game.
And funny you say the long game shit, because one of the Taliban dudes, one of the leaders, and said he was like, America, y'all got all the watches, but we got all the time.
Ooh.
Exactly.
And I was like, whoo, that's a fucking bar.
Bars.
Bars. I was like, that's a bar.
Yeah, sign that nigga up.
I remember watching.
He said, "Get that nigga Rex." Get that
Exactly, yeah. That's what you hear that. Don DeMarco, Marco.
I got the sound clip for that. Where is that? I'll find it later.
It's funny that you said that Don DeMarco drop. My man, who's one of my business partner, HHDG, my man Rock Vader KB, actually gave Don DeMarco that drop.
That drop?
Okay.
Yeah, because he I think my man KB kind of helped him learn how to DJ and stuff back in the day and all that. Shout outs to Don DeMarco. He's doing his thing with URL.
Yeah, that's dope. Listen, I remember watching the TV show Homeland, and that's kind of like almost, it's crazy how much stuff parody real life from that. And she chased like a terrorist down, and he told her, y'all Americans, y'all gonna throw everything at us, but y'all gonna throw all this money in there. He's like, but what are you gonna do? Because after a while, you're gonna get tired. And we'll be here. We've been here hundreds of years before you. I mean, thousands of years before. We'll be here 1,000 years after you. So we got nothing but time. We'll wait.
I think that's
we're just one person.
I think that's what a lot of the American people didn't realize is that these Talibans, it's been centuries that they always have another country trying to remove them from power, and they just wait in the cut. When y'all leave, we gonna come back and take our shit.
Exactly.
They hit him with in Friday.
Fighting since Jesus, man.
What he saying Friday? When he leave, I'll be laughing again.
Yeah, I'll be talking again. Yeah.
And you know what? On the American side, I'm not mad at it because one, we don't need to be over there anyway. Yeah, and now I want to hear your point of view on this, Gray, as being the one lone military man here. Mm-hmm. But personally, me, it's like I've never been a fan.
Still military.
Still military.
We'll drop off the Marines. Yeah, and Marines are still part of the Navy.
But you know what I'm saying? But I'm not the biggest fan of military. I salute those who chose to do it. I don't look at it as y'all protecting our country and all that, because you're not. To me, it's the U.S. meddling in other people's affairs. We don't need to be over there. And like Joe Biden said, and that's what I'm saying. Like,
Gray went over there for a check.
That's what all the niggas
it's really a business deal.
That's why I can fuck with Gray on this military shit, because I know Gray had a mission was to get that check. Yeah, I ain't trying to fuck with these people. I just came here for this paycheck. Let me get that.
It's right. Personal. I just came for the check, and he got back. He's a mission complete.
They told me college was gonna be free.
Exactly.
Hey man.
But nah, man. But like, I personally always thought, like, we don't need to be in these other countries' things. And Joe Biden even said, like, yo, like, it's in paraphrase, it's not our problem, because even their military ain't doing nothing about it.
Listen, here's
so why do we have to put our people? Why do we have to put our American people in harm's way for them? We're not the world police, even though they treat the U.S. military as the world police. And I don't agree with that.
I'll play devil's advocate in that. By him saying it's not our problem, we're the one that caused the problem. So it is kind of odd that we backpedaling. Really, we go in there, fuck their shit up, and then dip out. All right, y'all, we're good. It's not our problem.
I feel you on that.
Caused it. You know what I'm saying?
They signed that with the what is it? Afghanistan, right?
Yeah, Afghanistan.
Yeah. So they kind of treated it the same way they treated Japan, and was like, hey, we got y'all under this army stuff. Y'all don't have to worry about it. We got it.
Yeah. So and they said we trained 300,000 of them.
Because still to this day, Japan don't even have an army. USA is their army.
Yeah.
Japan doesn't.
After they tore us up in the 60s.
Oh, they have a little
or whatever.
They're limited, yeah.
So they're limited over there in Japan. Yeah, we're kind of protection.
Japan and Germany. Yeah.
And even like.
But Gray, what's your point of view on this, military man?
Well, my point of view is that what I've witnessed is that wherever the U.S. goes, it doesn't leave it better than it found it, and a lot of times it's really it only goes there for special interest.
True.
So we went there. I mean, it went there for mainly oil and resources.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I think I guess we done got it. And I think that's one of the reasons why they killed what's his name?
Bin Laden.
Bin Laden. Saddam Hussein.
Yeah.
Because it was one of the oil field that U.S. wanted, and he wouldn't let U.S. have it, and he set it on fire.
He set it on
burned
fire.
it off. And that shit burned for 9 fucking months. It
America
burned for 9
with
months.
that shit right there, America did what my middle daughter Danielle does. My daughter does. Tell her to do this thing, and she'll go back and do the thing you told her to do before first. So America went and killed Saddam Hussein first.
Yep.
For some shit that happened in the 90s that had nothing to do with Osama bin Laden.
Right. Yeah, they're gonna get you on somewhere, later.
That was Bush getting revenge for his daddy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Facts.
To me, it's worse.
All that money we spent over there, we were supposed to train their military.
We did,
but a lot of it, no, we didn't, man. Come on,
we trained.
A lot of it went to waste.
Ain't no training.
Come on,
300,000 of them.
Look at all the even humanitarian aids, all that. In fact, being there myself, I seen it firsthand. It's like the way to do it. Let's say say you have an emergency or whatever, like a hurricane came through your house, or you have a house fire. You know what? I say, you know what? I'm gonna come over there and I'm gonna bring you $1,000 worth of aid.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna get $1,000, but nah. I said, you know what? My rent's due, so I had to get some money out of that. I got to pay my car insurance, my car note. I had to get some money out of that.
By the time you get there, you got $200 for them.
By the time I get there, I may just help you pick up a few things. You know what? Damn, that was $1,000 worth of help. I'm out. That's really how they
say. You know what? I'll help you change the tire real quick.
Yeah, that's really how they do it. Like even the earthquake that happened in Haiti, they had pledged over $100 million worth of aid.
But to me that's different. NGO and global takeover is different. Because to me a big issue with Afghanistan, just like anyone else, it's another part of white supremacy. Notice the only places we topple and do this shit to are black and brown countries. There's none of these white spaces we go to. You know what I'm saying? True. Once we've made it separated from the Queen and all that, we beef with Russia, but we don't go over there where they fight proxy wars and everything else. But I'm just saying, there's no other white places in the world. Everywhere we go to are black and brown. Yeah. So by default, you already know who's the de facto non-citizen.
You're talking about going to Russia. Russia's not. Come on, bro.
Well, I'm just saying. Why you saying, come on, bro? I'm saying, of all the races,
Russia, the country itself, is bigger than some continents. You gotta know that.
Yeah,
they're 4 times bigger than the U.S.
How about Africa?
Even though with a smaller population, they're military minded. Them more is different.
This is you can't say Africa because you got to remember Africa is 81 different countries.
Yeah, correct. Africa itself is not
Africa,
one country. Yeah,
Africa is so big and what's the name, but they don't realize there's 81 countries, and you just lump Africa into one country like you do with all black people. You lump everybody together.
What I mean is just in general that they only exploit black and brown countries. General, they don't go to anywhere that's white. That's in our.
We black in America. We black in America. We know that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's almost like remember back in the days when the French and the kingdom when they divvied up different parts of Africa, you get this coast, you get that coast. It's the same thing going on to this day. Now they might do it in the Middle East. You get this part, you get that part. So it's kind of like how we look at it as if we're saying American interest, not American interest, because just by its definition, they're exploiting people of color.
Yeah, it's really for resources. What do you think they have them doing? Like a lot of these, people you see working in Africa, brick and rock.
But it's not only for resources.
A lot of them are working for big corporations here in the States.
But it's not only for resources. Because remember, they have resources. You can turn on each other to get resources.
Not really.
How come they're always single-minded to go after black and brown?
It's a lot easier to tackle, I guess. It's a lot easier to tackle.
To spin it back to Afghanistan and all that, wasn't it America who trained Taliban forces before they became the quote unquote terrorists that we are known?
And that's what I'm saying. They play both sides.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's all U.S. and Russia training one group and then training the other, and then they end up just flipping.
And this rabbit hole. this rabbit hole goes even deeper too when you think back into the 80s and how crack came into the country, things like that. Like Nate mentioned, bringing it to the black and brown, even like you mentioned, bringing it to the black and brown country. I mean,
South
spaces
America.
and all of that stuff.
Exactly.
You're tearing up the black and brown spaces and neighborhoods and things like that. For what? It's like almost like a game of command and conquer, but yet they're not conquering.
They're not conquering, but they're leaving the shitholes. Remember, the only place they do not touch that is pristine, just like you do in the U.S., is the white spaces. This is the first time ever, and now we got rural America, which they felt was just trash white they didn't take care of. But generally, there was only shitting on black and brown spaces in history. Now, this time, they just neglected the rural side, and they're getting a bad aspect of it.
So
we could take it to your home country, Haiti. You know, and still to this day, one of the only countries who was able to defend itself and win.
Right, the only one that fought for their independence.
But yet, unfortunately, it can be looked at as a loser because, hey, y'all won that war hundreds of years ago, but yet it feels like the world, it feels like the world left y'all in a deficit. Right. And then, as y'all mentioned, people coming in trying to do good. You know, remember the Clinton organization? They tried to come in after the hurricane, fucked y'all over, and we're taking all these donations, and then it doesn't look like we've seen any progress out of that. And then still to this day, unfortunately, your country just got hit with a hurricane recently, right, or something like that.
Hurricane and earthquake,
or it's close to it.
Earthquake and a hurricane. That was in the matter of 3 days.
So income again. Yeah, as I say, income again is going to be another influx of. Well, we need all these donations. We know all these donations, and what's probably going to be the first thing that comes down there? The vaccine. Because we can go conspiracy theory.
This is why I don't trust this vaccine. If it was so great, it wouldn't be offered to a lot of us.
That's what we said.
That's not even to mention the president that got killed the month before that.
The president got killed. It was like first thing that's going to come in there is the vaccine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but then the natural disasters happen. So again, what are the first resources that are? This whole thing is a huge rabbit hole of fucking games. Yeah, fucking games, and it's ridiculous.
And like the American military knew this was gonna happen, because all over the news, all you hear is that we expected this, but we didn't know it was gonna happen this fast. So y'all left knowing that this shit was gonna get taken over by the Taliban. Y'all just didn't expect it to happen in like 9 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they didn't expect them because Trump made a deal with them about the Taliban, how they wouldn't kill any Americans, and how they were supposed to divvy up power between the nation and the Taliban. That was a new agreement, which was kind of wild in itself. And then as soon as America left, the president over there dipped off.
Yeah, he left. He had no chance.
Yeah, he already know what was coming.
Come on, as a president, you don't leave your people. He left his people behind.
The sad thing is, a lot of times it's almost like the same thing that happens. Like in the
he went for self-preservation.
It's almost the same thing that happens in the hood when you cooperate with the authority. A lot of those interpreters that was over there working with the military, a lot of them now are in danger.
Of course, yeah, they the ones in hiding.
Yeah, now you looked at as a snitch.
Yeah,
exactly what I was gonna say, Gray. You look like the snitch now.
It was sad what's happening to them because they were catching those guys, dragging them back home, cutting their head off, cutting their family head off. But I give it to the Taliban though, because now ever since they went for power these last 2 days, there's only been like 4 deaths reported. And I think they just took over the presidential palace or something like that.
They had a big massacre today, bro. They had
you got to crack a couple eggs.
You had a big one today with the people trying to get to the airport. They just opened up fire on everybody.
Yeah, they were like, y'all making us look bad. You got to crack a couple eggs.
But this is the thing, like America wants to go around and westernize the rest of the world and stuff like that. But you got to let people live how they want to live.
Yeah,
and the stronger party is gonna win. That's just how it's gonna have to be over there.
Right, and that's the issue with it is like they tried to westernize that country. They tried to modernize in some respects, and it's like they want to just live how they want to live. And in that respect is we got to feel bad for the women that are over there. Right. Everything is gonna go backwards for them, and it sucks. It's terrible.
Right, because them.
It sucks. It does suck for them.
I want these ladies to come back and nag at me because they got a bachelor's degree.
Ain't no hot girl somewhere over there.
Them Taliban is the manosphere over there.
Yeah,
Taliban about that manosphere.
The Taliban, wow.
It sucks, but like I said, it's one of those things people never talk about. We talk about how much American lives we lost over there, 3,000? 300,000, I think, at the most.
You know, Gray, how many American soldiers we lost in that?
I think it's 3,000.
3,000. Yeah, 3,000.
Dave, if you've done the math of how much brown folks died since we started this war between Iraq and over there,
it's a lot.
I think it's over 3 million.
Yeah, it's a lot. Man.
That would be considered a genocide anywhere else, bro. 3 million people are not here on Earth anymore. Brown people. You know what I'm saying? Imagine that. We only lost 3,000 white people during 9/11, white mixed American, and we've been at war for 20 years for it. You mentioned 3 million people, and a majority of those are civilian because it's just drone attacks and just killing. So come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's not to say to be. You have to look almost the other way and not pay attention to kind of allow this thing to happen for it to cook and lick the rock how it's gotten.
And the thing that be getting me when they talk about this stuff on the news is like, the America's real concern is our national security. They don't give a fuck about them people.
No, we don't.
They're worried about our national security. That's all I'm hearing is our national security is in danger now because the Taliban took over.
It has nothing to do with our national security.
What about the people they killing over there? Y'all ain't worrying about that. You worrying about America's national security.
It's because people are fed that false flag of, like you just said, national security. They continue to beat in our heads for decades now. People might come over here. Your connection is
going in and out.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
What were you saying?
I said I was saying that. Yeah, I was like, yeah, and then they keep beating us in the head in America. Like, they might come to our country. They might come get us. Yeah. Meanwhile, no, it's what we just said before. It's they just want to live how they want to live.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck about what we're doing over here.
Right.
They don't want us to feed them with our bullshit that clearly isn't working here.
Yeah. I mean, look at China and North Korea. Those are the places.
America has never fought a war on its homeland.
Yeah.
Never. And it's smart.
But we always worry about our national security. Now we have the technology. We have the technology and all that stuff and all the gunpowder to not even worry about a motherfucker coming over here. There's no chance another country is gonna invade America.
Well, the perfect thing with that to add on to that is the old saying of how many military setups do other countries have in America?
Zero.
There you go. There's your answer. We don't have that. We don't have that because we don't allow it. So why do these freaking dumb rednecks believe the bullshit?
Who knows, man?
There's a system.
We have American military in all over each part of the world.
Yep. There's a system doing a good job at keeping citizens believing in the bullshit. There's a system doing a good job at that.
Nate, what happened to your camera? You getting naked over there?
That's a system doing a good job keeping the rednecks buying into their bullshit. The Patriots.
This nigga was trying to beat his meat over Zoom like these other people getting caught.
I think Buddy went back to work too.
This nigga did
I think he got fired.
No, they took him back. He was suspended.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
I thought it was a Zoom capture at CNN. Yeah, but it's wild, man. It's sad to see people. You know, they flew that plane over there. That plane had like a good, I'll say 90 or so, if not more people inside of it, just sitting there.
Like 300 people in there.
Damn.
Yeah, no chairs, just everyone sitting down, squatted over, flying over to a new country, no clothes, no nothing, because trying to get the opportunity. And you see all these people hanging onto the wheel wells, falling out the plane. It looked bad, man. They know a new day is upon them.
Now imagine if that plane experienced some terrible turbulence, bro. Everybody on that bitch is getting injured.
Dumb.
Yo, but a sight like that though, a sight to see that should tell, especially these dumbass Americans over here. And I am an American, but whatever you want to take that of it. But
American.
The sight of that though. The sight of that should tell people that, all these people are not as bad as they're perceiving them to be.
Exactly. They just want to live their.
Yeah, that's something like America does well is image bashing. When like whoever it's image, whoever you are, if they want to like really destroy you, like they go after your image first, and the rest is over.
We still battling that shit, and we've been here since this bitch started.
Do it to people, countries. Yeah,
It's definitely fucked up.
Yep.
I mean,
So positive energy to those people over there. I don't do the prayer thing, but positive energy to those people over there, man. I'm happy to be where I'm at. I'm happy to have been born where I'm at because unfortunately those people didn't have a choice in where they were born at and the conflicts that they have to go through and see on a daily basis. And yeah, man, positive energy to those people because I don't know what I'd be able to do in a situation like that.
I'm an energy person.
Yeah.
I'm an energy person.
Listen, man, you might not get it. You might not get it because you wasn't. You didn't jump on us when we first started, but you'll understand. You'll understand.
I'm an energy person
when you listen back to the episode.
If you listen to Jack Ryan, the guy said geography is destiny. So where you are born at does make a big difference what type of person you're going to be, how you're going to be. And I always felt like I said, migration will solve 95% of your problems. The reason we're here, majority of us, because our parents either, especially for the island folks, because they wanted to escape a bad situation and got there. You know what I'm saying? So, and even America, it was people escaping one situation. Yeah. And it's not excusing the slaves or the Native Americans, but everyone else is, you know what I'm saying, migration. Shit gets bad in your hood, you got to move. People got to, it's harder, it's against human nature to want to move, but that's usually the answer to like 90-95% of your problems. Shit getting bad, you got to be able to take off, man. Don't be the last to stick around because it never gets better.
Indeed. True indeed. But then you get generation born here. Then it turns to, hey, my people are here. Y'all can't come here because we need to come here. And that's that American bullshit that needs to kind of stop.
I never stood the immigrant or the kids of immigrants saying that the people that they come from shouldn't be allowed to come over here and shit like that.
Yeah, it is some bullshit.
I never understood that bullshit.
But that's yep. What else we got?
What's on you didn't send the list, Nate?
I didn't have a list. I'm gonna tell you, I know that the Taliban was a big ticket. You say got one, Greg?
No, I ain't got none of those.
Yeah.
It was that in Haiti, yeah.
Ain't shit happening hip hop this week? Hip hop was kind of slow this week.
Yeah.
The only thing that I could think of that happened in hip hop was Cassidy ended up doing a rebuttal to another rebuttal to Tory Lanez, a longer one. This one was a little bit better.
I haven't heard it.
Yeah, it was like 7 minutes long. It was a little better. It's old school Cass, but he's at the point nobody gives a fuck what Cassidy doing anyway. So it's
yeah, true to a point.
Yeah, that's just how it is. Especially because those that are checking for Cass, they probably check him out on the battle rap scene, and he's just been getting massive.
Yeah, he's been getting washed over there.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, collecting the bag.
I like Cassidy, and to me, just on the battle rap sense of things, he hasn't learned that the street style of battle rap doesn't equate to what's going on stage today. Now he's adapting to it, but he's not as good at it in this format compared to the back in the day street style of shit when the street form of battle rap used to be my verse versus your verse versus my verse versus your verse. Mm-hmm. Like that early 2000s form of battle. It wasn't the attack style that we're in now. And yeah, the people just seem to not really be feeling him on stage like that, I noticed.
Yeah, he's been getting smoked, man. So and new people don't know who he is. Like I said, so I don't think Tory Lanez might not even give him a rebuttal. But we'll see. Tory Lanez using whatever it is he could do to not stay to not get canceled out here. You know what I'm saying? He just sold 1 million ETFs, not NFTs last week and everything else. So he's always doing something to keep his name popping in the mainstream.
Yeah, I give it up to these cats though, especially with this NFT shit. It's like they're finding their ways around within new technology to get these bags and to prosper like well, because it's you all got to come up from somewhere, and a person like myself, I give Soulja Boy his props. I ain't a fan of his music, but I give him his props. He was that first one to really, really tap into the YouTube market, and a lot, ever since then, a lot of these young newer cats, they're getting smarter with their money. Plus, they're also finding these loopholes in new technology to get off. So, props to Tory Lanez for freaking finding that loophole in that niche to get that album off. Because who was gonna really buy a million copies of his album? But yet he did it by way of NFT, which the NFT crowd can now also prosper off of that album too.
That's real savvy, yeah. That's real savvy.
Yeah, these new cats is finding a way to get that back.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, because
they definitely smarter than what we were growing up. These young kids with this technology and getting this back.
Especially back then, remember they used to tell rappers not to go commercials. It was frowned upon to go out of the hood and try to get deals.
Yeah, to a point, but that don't really connect to this though. But to a point, I see what you're trying to say. Mm-hmm. Like, imagine if the RZA and that $2 million album that the farmer bro Martin Shkreli bought. Yeah, imagine if NFTs. Yeah, I remember. And imagine if NFTs was a thing when the RZA did that album. Mm-hmm. That shit would have went bananas, and they would have made way more than $2 million if NFTs was a thing when that album was created. Which, by the way, wasn't. It was created by an affiliate, Silver Rings, who, lesser known of the Wu-Tang affiliates, but. I digress. I know somebody who heard the album too, and
when do y'all think was trying to get it. The general public is gonna hear that album?
Never.
It might. Yeah, probably in our generation, maybe never, because
the government own it now. So
yeah, and the government's just gonna sit on it because they don't really give a fuck about hip hop, even though hip hop and rap is the popular culture of the world.
Yeah,
right.
Maybe the government could really. I think the buyer can't replicate it either. So it's not like the government could turn it into NFT. So it's kind of like sold directly to you.
I believe the way that that contract was set up was something like, I think like you could play it for people in your general vicinity.
Exactly.
You can't try to. I think you can't. It was something like you can't try to resell it.
Mm-hmm.
But after it was something like after like 88 years, then it has to be given up to the public for the public to consume. So think of it as like a $2 million time capsule.
Yeah, or a copyright. Yeah,
listen. If I get a hold of that album, I'm pulling a Kanye. I'm having listening parties in all types of stadiums
and charging for
charging y'all to come sit in these seats and. Watch me sit on this stage while this album play.
My thing is like when you have like this type of art and you want to sit on it for like that for that long, like after like that 70 or 80 years, I'm questioning its relevance. Like with like the new crowd,
like unreleased Elvis tracks.
Yeah, but you're talking 88 years. You talking about like 4 different generations.
Yeah.
Right, but it's also but see this what this does is it speaks to how music should be created. It shouldn't be created for just the microwave, get the bag right now.
Yeah,
music should be created to be timeless. Like think back on I forgot which Tribe album or what track it was. When Q-Tip said, "Yo, my man Extra P said don't say the date on this." Because this is gonna be forever. Mm-hmm. He said it at the end of I forgot which album, what song, but he said it at the end of a track. He was like, "Don't say the year on this because this is gonna last forever." And great music will last forever. That's why, like when we mentioned earlier, you could get a freaking Rakim right now and tour the Eric B and Rakim album, the first paid in full album. You could get KRS-One who will still give you a show of dope shit off the top and all of that, but he can come back and give you Criminal Minded and things like that because dope music lasts forever. And if you don't mind, I have something that just hit my head now in hip hop. De La Soul just officially got their masters back from Tommy Boy.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to talk about again, great music that'll last forever. Now
it's great
De La
music that
Soul can
are
eat
major though. It's got to be great music that are major. Great music that's
No.
underground. If once its time has passed, sound starts sounding dated. But once it's a major track, it takes you back towards what's that called when you're reminiscing? It's almost like a what's that called?
Yeah, I get it. It's just nostalgia. It gives you nostalgia.
Yeah.
But the same thing. See, but the same thing though. Yes, it does bring like a perfect example is I was just listening to King Just's album Warriors Drums maybe a couple weeks ago because somebody in my hip hop group mentioned it. Yo, have y'all? And I still love that album to this day. Mm-hmm. And that album, it brought me back to whatever it was, 95 or whatever, when that joint came out, when we was playing it on my block, we was playing it in school. Like, it still gives me that vibe, but it gave me the vibe of I was back in that era. And still, that's what great music should do. It should recall that vibe of when you were younger. And in some respects, it still's like, I still love this shit. I still love this thing. And that's what good music should do, regardless of if you were a mainstream, well-known worldwide act.
Correct. But if I wasn't from that era, how would I know it?
Right. That's the thing. That's what I was going to say. Like with music, for it to last forever, it has to pull out a human emotion that we're going to have forever. Because like, say someone drop a classic now today that we say is forever, but they mention shit like COVID. They mention shit like what's name. 100 years from now, motherfuckers gonna be like, "What the fuck was COVID? What is he talking about?"
They mention Snapchat.
So I think it has to pull out emotions that we go through every day.
To a point, I agree with you, but also too, go back to the time capsule reference. 100 years from now, cats is talking about COVID in their raps and shit like that, and then or like mentioning COVID, for instance. It brought back and it recalled 100 years ago when, what was it? The Scarlet Fever, that was the last pandemic of 101 plus years ago.
Right.
It brought that up. And then guess what it did? It made people of our generation and our era actually go research what that was because we wasn't alive for it.
Another thing,
music can do the same thing. Music can do the same exact thing.
You know, one song that I think is going to last forever is Sam Cooke's Change Gonna Come. Bro, I listen to Sam Cooke now. I still want to fucking cry, and I even go through it.
Yo,
you can hear the emotion and the pain in the song, and that shit just brings up emotions, even if you didn't go through struggles like that.
Nina Simone too. It's a new dawn. It's a new day.
Yeah, stuff like that. Bro, that
strange
brings
fruit, shit like that.
Fruit. Yeah.
But we're going. But you see how what we're doing though. We're paying respect to the music that came out when it was our parents' music.
Well, here's the thing, though. With hip hop, there was an era where hip hop got great, but there was an era where hip hop was whack. You know what I'm saying? Because it was new. Like early hip hop wasn't all that good. When they're jump a feed, when they jump in the hood, ain't nobody gonna revisit that earlier stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Here's where I
you talking
to
a hip hop historian.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Check that nigga real quick. Check him real quick.
Get that nigga Rex. No, but here's where that's wrong in a way, because when you understand the evolution of hip hop, we have to remember, it might sound dated, but we also, people who love the culture and love the music of the culture, understand that's what it was back then. And as long as you stayed within the culture and followed along and tracked the evolution of it, this thing was meant to evolve. This is where I can sit back and speak to the old heads that are like myself and older, that I gotta say, you gotta finally get the fuck up off your lawn, take a walk off your porch and go see what's outside a little bit. Because guess what? There are artists out there that are still doing the style that you love. Especially my people that are like the 90s was the greatest era.
Yeah, they are boom bap New York artists. Yeah, you're right.
The 90s to me is the greatest era of
That's my favorite area too.
Of not hip hop culture, of rap music. Because it was when you think back on the radio, it was still new on the radio. So radio was still way more experimental with it. You had the Rock of the Drop-Its. You had like the Hot 5 at 9s, where they were able to introduce new sounds and new styles before the corporations took over and found that where they could take and make a bag out of it, and found how they can leverage certain artists that, hey, we want this guy or this woman to be the one on top. So let's pay these radio stations all this money to prop them up and big them up. And then it becomes, hey, this label says, hey, I want a piece of that too. Let's prop this person up. Let's put that person up. And so there's so much within this that it's like, again, 100 years from now, they might hear Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with and still be like, holy shit, this shit was raw and gritty back then.
But you see, like, even Wu-Tang Clan was fire, but even to me, like, this from an outsider looking in, because I'm from the South more. Method Man and Redman was just fucking next level from the gate, bro. Like, lyrically, if you check the rap structure, the way they rap back then, it's still fire today. You know what I'm saying? I love people that are so far out their era. That, like Rakim was so far out his era. You know what I'm saying? That this nigga's still nice. That flow, you put it on a new beat today, you're like, well, these bars are fire. These things still go.
Right, but it was a matter. It's also a matter of eventually growing and making timeless music. That's where the problem is within this microwave culture we're in now. Props, like I mentioned before, props to these kids that are out there getting the bag. Props to that get in the bag. Do your thing. Take advantage of the system that is there for you now. No problem with that. But also, you gotta remember, if you really want your legacy to live on, you got to start making stuff that's timeless. Yeah. And also, just speaking hip hop, this is why I differentiate rap versus hip hop, because hip hop is the culture. Hip hop is the umbrella. Right. It's rap music that we talk about. And when we go back to what we were saying earlier about the older cats, and they didn't have bars. Bars weren't a thing. Rappers weren't even rapping in a measurement of a bar system. Now, they were actually, because the beat was always 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. They was always rapping. The formula was always there. But the rap at that time was also just the crowd motivator, the party starter, giving props to my DJ, which again, without the DJ, there would be no culture, but I digress.
We said that after watching
it's always about the DJ first here,
right,
so I'll show y'all that now.
That was our main point with the Dipset and Locks battle. It was definitely the DJ.
I've been saying that too. Even though over time the DJ has never been,
man. Listen, y'all want to get back into that again?
There's a lot of rap rappers, but we would say there's a lot of white DJs.
They removed the DJ from hip hop pretty much, and
well, you said the white DJ is great.
It's just nonsense music.
I don't think we have ever mentioned any whack DJs, but we've also mentioned like a lot of whack rappers.
But you don't mention whack DJs because the whack DJ has been pushed. I mean, the DJ has kind of been pushed out of the forefront. But bringing it back to the verses, though, DJ Technician, who I've met several times, he's friends of mine. I've met him at a couple Brooklyn hip hop festivals. Cool ass dude, very chill dude. You could say what's up to him. Great guy. I've met him before, and that dude is the MVP of all the verses so far, because the Locks one, it was just, he reminded the world once again, you got to respect the DJ. Yeah, right. But he was the DJ for Ghostface on his. He was the DJ, I think, for Jadakiss when he battled Fab, which I didn't watch that one because I can't stand Fab's music.
That's one of Nate's favorite artists.
What? I don't like Fab, man. That's
one of my favorite artists.
Too commercial for you?
No, he's just too A B C D E F G for me. And when he certified that by saying in a interview one time how Jay-Z told him not to be like over lyrical, like almost saying you gotta dumb down your music a little bit. And he got joints out like there's some singles
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
But I just can't do Fab.
Just like I can't
do Dipset either. And y'all niggas was riding hard for Juno.
Nigga.
Not me.
Juno.
Nigga, in the what was it? Like the 2000s, 2002s? Nigga, I was walking around thinking I was Cameron. Niggas call me Flea. Call me Flea, nigga.
I can't say no other group.
You was making the computers Putin.
I was making them computers puke, nigga.
and you turn that into a profession, right?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, Dipset was a beast, and they had one hell of a run, bro.
Yeah,
the cool fact
they had a run, but lyric wise, I still can't. You know what it was? The heat makers and the cats that was making beats for them. Their beats were fucking insane. Just lyrically, different. I never liked them cats.
To me, Juelz was one of the nicest lyricists out there, man. At one point, and then
that's why opinions are subjective.
Yeah, that's it. To me, like, I think he had the album called Jose, I believe. Jealous One, Still Envy. That was.
Don't ask me. No, that was Fat Joe.
Yeah, that's Fat.
Was that Fat Joe? I couldn't remember between. I know at one point, Juelz was fire, man. He was a beast.
No, they had their era. They had niggas rocking fucking skinny jeans with fucking chains, wallet chains, and fucking.
that was me. That was me in the start of my college years.
Yeah, the
chains. The skinny jeans wasn't in yet, so I definitely was rocking around with skulls and chains and shit.
Yeah, the rock star look.
No
thanks. The Ed Hardy. The Ed Hardy era.
Oh yeah, Ed Hardy era.
Yeah.
But back to the DJ though. Technician, he was the real MVP of these verses. And in that one, the Dipset versus Lox one, which I didn't watch when it happened, but when I seen all the memes, I was like, you know what? Let me go watch. I watched that shit the next day, thoroughly entertained.
Yeah.
Thoroughly fucking entertained. And Technician just killed it because also too, the Lox remembered, this is a live show. Like they performed for the people.
Right. Everybody that came with a fire DJ. Everybody that came with a fire DJ won their verse battle.
But I like the fact that they said we're gonna get nippy before it, so they've been planning to pull each other's hats, kick each other. That WWE of it, that everybody thought the fight was gonna break out. I didn't know they had already agreed that ahead of time. That in itself is a big factor of it because you do feel like it was almost like a street battle rap. Like, hold on, this shit might explode in a second here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that nigga Cameron took it a little too far when he kicked Styles in the chest.
Yeah, that's what y'all said. But like I said, they all agreed to that type of. That's why they didn't break out fighting at the end. They agreed in advance we're gonna kind of get a little disrespectful to each other. That is genius. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, they went on some real New York shit, and that's how it used to get. But I mean, it would be real blows at the end of shit for real. But nah, that was good. If there was something I wanted to say that was great for the culture of hip hop and rap music, that moment was it. Like even if I wasn't the biggest fan of one side of their music, like that was huge for rap at its time.
And hearing behind the scenes how Cameron makes sure that everybody got the proper paycheck was definitely dope to hear too.
You gotta respect that. You gotta respect that for real. But what was y'all favorite top 3 verses so far?
Mine would have to be Gucci versus Jeezy.
Sure.
That'd be my number 2.
The Lox versus Dipset, and I will go back probably Jada versus Fab.
Okay,
right.
Yeah, I think mine's are some of the same. This past one, Lox versus Dipset, Gucci's versus Jeezy, and
that was a fucking killer.
yeah. What else? Yeah, I gotta say Jada versus Fab. I gotta say Jada versus Fab because they're both my top 5.
It's okay to say the Isley Brothers versus who the Isley
I ain't watched that.
The one Steve Harvey was talking all over.
Isley versus Earth, Wind and Fire. That's in my honorable mention.
Listen, mine's
top 5.
That one would have been good if Steve Harvey wasn't there. Steve Harvey fucked everything up, bruh.
Mine would have to be that. What's the name? Same lineup, except my number 3 would be the Nelly and versus Ludacris, and Ludacris straight washed the boy.
Yeah, that one was good too.
Luda washed Nelly easy.
And I got all these shits wrong, bro.
Yeah, I told you. I told you.
I'm wrong on all these verses, bro.
Yeah.
Nah, Luda was one of my like, and I'll give y'all something that y'all can rock with in a minute. But Luda is one of my top like. He had a good 5 or 6 album run where he never spit anything whack ever.
Correct.
To me,
yeah, he had a run.
To me,
yeah, he had a run.
He had a run. But my favorite verses though, 3 is RZA is Ghost versus Ray.
Okay.
I'm calling Shaolin Bias all day. RZA versus Premier. No. Beanie Man versus Bounty Killer, which is the one that set the table
early.
for how
we're
watching versus now. Yeah. That one was phenomenal. That shit brought me back to doing parties back when we was in high school.
See, the reason that one was great is because that's their culture.
Exactly.
Yes, that was the sound
they know how to do it.
That was sound clash. Remember, Wiz Khalifa had one of them.
That brought me back to freaking watching all the Sting tapes and watching Bounty Killer versus Merciless or Ninja Man versus Bounty or Bounty Beanie back in Sting back in the day. But that's what that brought me back to. But then number one was y'all Florida boy T-Pain versus Lil Jon.
That one was good too.
I didn't see that.
That one was the most fun. And that shit made me love T-Pain, because
T-Pain's a fucking monster.
Oh, yeah, T-Pain's a beast.
That dude is hilarious.
But I don't think did he win that one? I can't remember. Or did they have
I personally think Lil Jon smashed him.
Yeah.
But it was what it was about that one was it was the love that T-Pain was showing to all his music. He was like on that like, nope, you ain't gonna play that one. Nah, damn nigga, you played that one like that shit was the most fun. But the Isley Brothers versus Earth, Wind and Fire, that was a definite honorable mention for me. And Steve Harvey was a necessary evil. And I have to say it like that. He was a necessary evil for that one because that was his era of music, what he grew up on. The only thing I didn't like about it was how he was shitting on the youth who, like myself, we grew up on that music, Steven.
Yeah.
we grew up on that fucking music, Stephen Harvey.
How about the Keith Sweat versus Bobby Brown?
I didn't watch that one. I didn't really.
I
love that.
That one. I don't think that one was that entertaining.
I mean, Keith Sweat was just biting your boy that day. He had a better DJ as well.
Yeah, it's whoever came with the better DJ, you definitely winning the battle.
I also like doing Babyface versus who was it?
Babyface was laid back.
They had two. Remember they were the first one. Remember it froze and it was looking back.
Yeah, it was Teddy Riley shit.
Yeah,
Teddy Riley was all set up in the studio with like the full performance ready to go, and his shit was just on fucking. His shit was on People PC time. He didn't upload the Lycos disc to get the free internet.
Yeah, those are the only Pearson. That's the only time they had to do it twice. When they shut down, they had to reschedule it.
Yeah, you could look at Babyface and like he was like, really this nigga with all this extra shit, bro. We just here to play some music, bro.
So back.
Jill and Erica was good too. If you like their music.
Which one? Monica's one was fire.
No, I said Jill Scott versus Erica Badu.
Oh, I didn't catch that one. I already knew that was the battle of the whole. The whole percent. Monica and Brandy's was fire too, though.
I didn't see that one.
Kind of. It was in.
But speaking of y'all New York thing and all that, I know how you feel this whole last week. I don't know if you spawned on another absurdity. This whole thing going down between Wack 100 and Jim Jones, and it's starting to take a spin up. It's starting to.
He's not a Dip fan, so he's like.
Nah, but that's not even my. I don't even care what them cats is doing. You know what it is? I actually do check that stuff out, but them, I didn't really check it out because it has the whole 6ix9ine involved, and I'm aware of what 6ix9ine story and all that, and DJ Academics is just whacked as fuck, so I don't give him my energy.
Do you think it's a
Yeah,
necessary
when y'all was
evil?
talking about whack DJs, I was gonna bring up DJ Academics.
I've never seen that nigga spin once.
Yeah, I
He
mean, neither,
tried to
like-
spin. He tried to spin.
I don't know
doing
why they
that,
call him
He
DJ.
tried to
like-
spin that Soldier Boy
that
shit
Soldier Boy shit.
and got Soldier Boy washed.
Oh, man.
I think that was that Soldier Boy's fault though, because any DJ can play music if you give him the right set. That whole last minute, just don't let me blend after wait till your verse come on. That shit is horrible, bro.
Nah, man.
I didn't see that one. My bad, Juno.
It's not really about just giving a DJ the songs. The DJ has to know what order to play them in, how to fade them in, and all that shit. Bro.
Yeah, that fade part is very
that
necessary.
shit, that DJing is a fucking art.
Yeah,
because you could take two
it's
tracks
called
that
rehearsal.
You could take two tracks that don't even sound like they mix good together. Put them bitches together, and the crowd will go fucking crazy.
This is true.
So it's just knowing the art of DJing.
And for that format, it's about rehearsal. It's all about rehearsal.
Yeah.
If you don't rehearse, well, you can press buttons all day. If you don't rehearse as a team to pull a performance off, like you're gonna fail. Yeah. But I didn't see that one, but I did see a lot of clips in that. And that versus gets mad props to me too, because niggas can hate all you want, but those cats defined an era at their time.
Yeah, they did.
Bow Wow was a fucking thing. It was a major wave when he first came out. Soulja Boy, I mentioned it before. That dude kicked off what every rapper does today with YouTube.
That's why he's out here making sure he collect his flowers and letting everybody know he the first.
And he gets it, and he gets it from me because, hey, like I said, hate him or love him, I respect what the boy did. And he made just YouTube as a brand pop.
Now, do you feel academics on his feel he's white? You feel he's a necessary evil in hip hop?
No, he's unnecessary altogether.
Okay, now your pick: Rosenberg or academics?
Rosenberg, easy. Rosenberg. See, motherfuckers hate on Peter Rosenberg just because he's the white dude.
He's a white dude.
Peter Rosenberg is the white dude who lives and represents the culture.
That's what's dope about hip hop.
It's about the culture more than the music for me.
Because in hip hop, a lot of parts that appear in hip hop would die out if it wasn't for these white boy purists. Right. A lot of DJs.
Hip hop is not a race. Hip hop is not a race. It's a culture.
But I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. A lot of, because we're always on to the next. A lot of the purists in hip hop, you'll find are a lot of white boys that are digging in the crates. They want that sound, and even like rappers that want to sound like a certain era, boom bap is there. You'll see what type of producers they have to find because they can't afford the old school ones. But if you're on a new beat that still sounds boom bap, it'll be like a hip hop purist, and it tends to be like a white boy that just happened to grow up in the era, and he get in this bag for, you know what I'm saying, for the scratch and something like that. So it is kind of dope that you have different races that kind of have different elements and keeping hip hop alive in that aspect.
And to connect to that is something that a lot of people hate when I say hip hop, when the culture started off, it was a counterculture from the streets.
Yep.
Hip hop is Black culture. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Hip hop is Latino culture because the Puerto Ricans was down from the beginning.
Yep.
Hip hop, in some respects, also is a counterculture that started with white people also, because this whole thing started off with, again, it started off as counterculture. It started off as people from the streets that kind of rebelled against certain things, and every culture or race, I like to say culture over race, because I'm one who believes we are the human race, that we are all separated by cultures, but the culture of hip hop itself has been this one all-consuming that, but still, it was birthed from Black people. It was birthed from Jamaicans, to be, if you want to really break it down.
Yeah,
we could be here all night with that.
I don't mind the academics though, because academics, like I said, we need a TMZ in hip hop, just like you have anything else in the other genre.
Yeah,
and I'm cool with Rosenberg because he's a purist, but I'm also not cool whenever he's trying to do his he's trying to set these new social standards and norms, trying to chase the baby off of hip hop because it's politically incorrect. Or if you say anything about Jewish folks, he's snapping. You can't have your Jewish standards when you quote hip hop. We talk about blacks and browns any kind of way, and there's no standard there.
Yeah,
it is a double-edged sword.
And to be honest, when it comes to the money making aspect of the hip hop of rap music, Jewish people been there from the beginning because they've been the bankrolls for many of freaking labels out there.
And he likes to bring that up, but he doesn't bring up that it's been we've been a partnership from the beginning, but it's been an exploitative relationship from the beginning.
Because it's a product of today's culture and mindset. In today's thinking. That's kind of what you're speaking towards when thinking of him. And yeah, I'll fall back on the academics thing for a little bit because you know what? Everybody, in my opinion, has a place in hip hop as long as you respect the culture. Mm-hmm. It's always about the culture for me over the music. As long as you can respect the culture, everybody can have a place in it. And it's just the problem is those who eat off it that don't respect the culture, which is all the music labels, all television, all TV. They don't respect the culture. They just see the dollar amount in it.
Exactly.
And that's what I was thinking too, like about the when you talk about the what was it, the album from Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it seems like the labels really have all the power where, you know, like how far it goes, like how much money it makes, its relevance, all that. Like after like 70 years of, you know, the life of the artists and the authors, if you know, like it continues.
Right.
Yeah, it seems like they're getting all the power. Like, you know, even with the even with the young audience, all the audience, like a lot of them, they don't really like want to recognize you unless they hear you from, you know, like from the labels.
Well, that kind of goes into the brainwashing and mindset of the fan of music today. Not the person that really lives this hip hop culture. It's more from the fan that just wants to hear the shit that just makes them move in the club.
Yeah, and that's what I'm
or
thinking.
The person
too, like,
that just the shit just sounds dope in a car. Like, okay, you like music. But that's where you get into the other rabbit hole of the argument of fan versus person who loves the culture.
Yeah.
And a person who loves the culture actually absorbs everything that comes with it more than just the popularity of the newest track that came out yesterday.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so like 7 years after, like, you know, a lot of us won't be here. So like it's hard for me to like see that if like you're gonna have like somebody who really loved the culture, like as far as it goes moving forward. Like you're just gonna have like these kids who are just gonna just eat whatever like the label feeds them.
Right. But again, this is where culture over the microwave fan comes in. As long as the culture's there, the culture is going to survive and live regardless of what that microwave fan, that one that wants the new shit, the hot shit right now. Culture will always be there. Culture will always be there. Things are going to and culture and things within culture evolves every day. I mean, just going from our cultures in general, from you guys being Haitians, like how much of Haitian culture has evolved. Like, take it, you know, just a sidebar. Like, how many American Haitians dismiss voodoo, but yet you bring it back to your country and it's still a thing because that culture still thrives off.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right. Very true.
But even voodoo is really not just a Haitian thing too. Like, you know, really like
You're
all the
correct.
islands know about it. In fact, even Puerto Ricans,
everyone that's from the old
Trinidadians.
country, like they call it, everyone that's from the old country have their own version of magic. Italians, Puerto Ricans, everyone that's what makes US almost new age. Like, we all agreed we're gonna believe in capital money. That's it. We're gonna forget magic outside of religion, but really everyone that came before this all derived from some sort of mysticism and magic.
And this is why US needs immigration, because without that, it will die.
Right, and this is why I talk about the evolution of things within culture. And when we're talking hip hop, things can evolve. Things can evolve. Things can grow. Things are meant to grow. If anything stayed the same, then it all dies. Mm-hmm. If things didn't stay the same, it all dies. But there's certain elements within the culture that always are important and always survive. That's why we can spin it back within hip hop and bring it back to Technician and what he did with the locks. reminded y'all that the DJ in this hip hop culture is still important.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean by your roots, whatever y'all had from Haiti is still important within your life. That you'll carry those roots because they'll always be there. But you'll grow to, like Nate said, you'll grow to the capitalism, the scamming, as you like to do. The scamming. All that shit grows because you're absorbing
The new
America.
culture. Yeah.
But your Haitian roots are still there.
Right.
The DJ roots of hip hop are still there and will always be there. Who's gonna play your music?
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
I guess as it becomes more exclusive in hip hop, you know what I'm saying? The DJ doesn't get as much shine, but the smart people that look at it, but like, hold on, you get a nice little bag over there, you play it right. And it's a part that's not too overpacked, you know what I'm saying? Like everyone wants to be the rapper, everyone wants to be the producer. You're like, you know what? It'd be the little nerdy guy back there, get them the little ones and twos. But that's the downside of that is once he gets popping, he does have a little chip on his shoulder. Nah, y'all won't fuck with me before that. Then he makes sure rappers pay for it, make sure everyone else pay for it.
But also too, with keeping on the evolution theme, a lot of those DJs that quote unquote aren't getting the shine and all of that stuff, a lot of DJs have evolved into beat makers. A lot of DJs have evolved into engineers. Some of the dopest albums that have been put out in rap recently, mentioning Peter Rosenberg, who started off as a DJ, he just put out a fire album recently. They making compilation albums because, I could get this fire artist that likes me, this fire artist that likes me, this, and put it together. And there you go.
He did drop his first compilation album super late, if you ask me, you know what I'm saying. I didn't really get any promotion or anything like that. I felt he should have been well on his way, a lot more by now, but yeah, he did drop it.
But it did get that, like you said, that purist, as you mentioned before. The purists, the people who love rap, love a certain style and love it, they're on it. And like my boy just went to the show a couple weeks ago where he did an album release party and they did a performance of the album in Brooklyn. Maybe the week it came out. And so a person like them, he knows his audience. That kind of audience, he brought in artists that have their own groundswell of following.
Nice.
That's how you get it. That's how you get them in. That's why, the Griselda cats. Like I think he had Benny the Conway on the album.
Probably my favorite group out of New York right now.
Yeah, but it's cats like that are still their vibe and their feel is of a certain era, and they're going to now pull them in. You know what I'm saying?
We're still talking about crack. Crack ain't even in the streets anymore. I'm still rocking with it. We're still talking that, Joe. I'm rocking with Griselda, man. How you feeling that new Nas album?
I didn't listen to it yet because I'm constantly listening to the podcast. Plus, I don't jump on shit right away. That's always been something within me that I can't jump on shit right away because fresh, brand new energy can hype something up, something crazy. Like how we mentioned battle rappers. Yeah. Your shit can be fire on stage, but then when you bring it back and watch it on YouTube on camera later, and that shit doesn't hit the same because everybody in the space was feeling it, made you feel a certain way. I need the crowd to die down so then I can ingest it for myself without any other outside influence. So give me another couple weeks and I'll get back to y'all on that.
How about you, Judo? Check that. Yeah, great, Judo. Y'all check that out, guys.
I listened to it a couple times. It's good. It's a decent album. Let me see what. I was feeling the brunch on Sundays because I'm a brunch. I'm a brunching nigga. So I was definitely feeling the brunch track. I had that one on repeat a little bit.
Yeah, this was one of my favorite Nas albums, and I was remember I got into Nas real late because I was such in the Jay-Z camp for so long. So I went back and kind of backtracked a lot of his albums a couple years ago. But this is definitely I think my favorite album from him was probably his group album with him and Damon Marley, Distant Relatives.
My favorite Nas album is actually one that people don't fuck with, which was Godson.
Godson?
I thought you was gonna say Nostradamus.
Nah, Godson. For some reason, I play Godson, and I just love that shit for some reason.
Yeah, for me,
Yeah, a lot
I've
of people
listened to a
fuck with
few
that.
tracks, but I haven't. I gotta revisit it again. So
Which one? The album?
yeah,
Yeah. But this album to me was incredible, man. And one thing I like about it, he got together with Hit Boys, did beats and stuff there. But really thing I like about it is the stuff he's talking about. You know, Escobar's always been godly and rap, but now I know he's actually living like that. Now he's got the bread to back it. You know what I'm saying? He ain't getting a like $10 million a year, man. We know he's getting that off of every IPO. He's dropping 30 million.
Right.
Now he's actually
he's talking
it's
that
incredible.
talk now. He's talking
He's
that
talking
talk
that
now.
talk, and I know he got it, and he didn't have to sell out for it.
And that's the difference in the him and Hove situation, because
Exactly.
everything Hove was rhyming. Like, and that was part of the thing I was gonna say, Nate. It sounds like you say you was on the Jay-Z wave, so it sounds like you kind of bit into one side of the battle.
Exactly.
Back in the day.
I know Hov was living it. Hov had a
Yeah.
lot more bread. This, that, a third. And he was such a hip-hop purist. It's dope that he still is a hip-hop purist, but he still got his capital bag on. Now he can rap that Escobar stuff and actually live it. He was rapping that Escobar thing back then. Like, well, you really living it. We know Hov been living like that for the longest.
Right. Like we bit into the Nas was rapping the stuff that he seen out his window now.
Exactly. Yeah. Now
his pen was immaculate.
Exactly. So it's good to see it catch up, and he got to stay pure. He's getting the bag. I managed it. So now he's talking some cash stuff, and I know he got it. The shit is just dope.
Yeah. I feel your point. I feel your point of view. I mean, to me, Nas was always there, but I feel your point on that. But this is what I wanted to give y'all. Since perfect example of mentioning Nas. You know how everybody loves to do top fives, right? Everybody's got a top five. A lot of people out there feel like you got to have a uniform top five. We all just heard about Jamel Hill saying how we gotta eventually start taking Big and Pac out of the top fives.
Why?
I never had Big and Pac in my top fives.
Oh,
but here's what I started to do for my personal sake that I think everybody should eventually adopt. Have your personal top fives, but then have a legends bracket where these artists, they do not need to be quantified within a top five. They do not need to be quantified by a number. They're just greatness. What made me start doing this was because I always would forget Ice Cube out of my top five.
Fire. Exactly.
But Cube is a certified legend. So that's where I have Big, Pac, Rakim. Like Rakim wasn't in my top five, but he's a lot of people's number ones. KRS, Jay-Z, Nas. Like,
but see, the reason you don't need Rakim, why people don't need Rakim is because they got Nas. So it's kind of like it's an A-B. If you don't have to do Nas, you don't need Rakim if you got Nas. In a sense, why some people put Nas, in a sense.
But a lot of people don't have Rakim also because of age, and they weren't around.
Oh, okay, yeah.
If you think about it that way. But I implore everybody to just do a legends bracket. Have your personal top five. Like my personal top five, my first two are in my legends bracket. All of them would be in my legends bracket, but my personal top five, KRS-One is number one. Jay-Z is number two, but it's a close number two. He could be number one. Redman is my three. MF Doom is my number four. Sean Price is my number five. That has been my solid five for the past 10 plus years.
You got two on those lists I need to check out more. Sean Price and MF Doom.
But everybody else, to me, are legends and that I don't have to have them in a five. I know they got shit that I can go back and play. But Doom, since you said Doom, rest in peace, one of my favorites ever. The thing about Doom is he's kind of niche to where you gotta want to listen to him.
Yeah.
But if you listen to his lyrics, he has so much rewindability and replay factor that it's like each time you listen to a joint, there's something that you didn't catch the first time.
That's what I got.
That you'll catch the second time, and it'll make you go Google search.
That's what I used to get from Hov. That's
what I get when I listen to Big L.
Big L, Hov. That's what I got with Jay-Z, Big L, early Kanye. The more intelligent you become, the more different aspects you like. You like, hold on, you get back and catch something you said back 15 years ago. Like, holy shit!
So you think if Big L never got killed or anything, like Jay-Z would be what Jay-Z is?
Yes.
Think so?
Absolutely, because there is room for it in hip hop in rap. There is room for that. The only difference is Big L would have been signed to Rockefeller because I believe that was on the way before he was unfortunately killed.
Okay.
So
it's hard to say. I know it would be
a lot of things.
beast.
We would have probably got the what was the Biggie's thing that he called with Cam and Charlie
commission?
Baltimore. Yeah, the commission. We would have got that if Big never got killed.
Yeah.
Big, and personally, like a lot of people try to, again, get off my lawn type old head niggas. A lot of people are like, oh, Big would frown his face on this. I think Big would probably want to reach out and do tracks with all of these young cats.
Listen, if there's anyone that's more overhyped in New York, it's probably Big.
No.
Listen,
but I
because New York comes out with so much quality hip hop for y'all to pretend like lyrically, Big was raw for his time, but there's niggas that's been super lyrical long after.
A lot of that, Nate, in my opinion, when you hear a lot of the cats, especially Brooklyn cats, say, "Nah, Big is number one," it's because a lot of these people were in the room to witness it. And I think that's where a lot of his lore lies, is a lot of people were in the room to witness what Big has done. And a lot of the shit that was said, it was true. But they said Big was such a genuine, loving dude that like he showed love to people. And the real side of Big, like that's why I say, I think a person like Big, hands down, would have worked with a lot of these young cats.
Another good example of that is Soulja Slim. If you know anything about
I've heard the same stories about him too.
Soulja Slim was the dopest to come out of
New Orleans. Yeah, he was one of the very popular. And then he went to jail.
But he went to jail, died,
worked with all these young
stuff
dudes,
like that. So I think Soulja Slim is a good example of what would have been if he was around.
Word. Word.
Yeah, we going all day on hip hop, man.
Absolutely. I told you these rabbit holes, yo. These rabbit holes. We can fall down them.
I still got two more in hip hops.
Go ahead, shoot.
Got rapper Shine returning back to the U.S. after being deported.
He's coming back as a boss now, though. He's not coming back as a. He's the what is he like the something of Belize? What is he like the?
He's an ambassador.
Ambassador or something or. He's not a senator. He's something
now. Yeah.
He's a politician. Yeah. So they have no choice but to accept him back now. You know what I'm saying? You got a diplomatic immunity. He come back, catch a body, and just walk right off.
come back as a diplomat.
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
The real diplomat. Right? The real diplomat.
Y'all gonna stop throwing shots at y'all gonna stop throwing these shots at Dip, man. What else you got in hip hop, Gray?
Then I got I don't know. I don't really consider him a rapper, I guess, because I don't think he really had a verse on that song that he made out. But Silentos indicted for murder.
Watch Me Whip.
Yeah,
watching that kind of body.
Don't put that on the culture.
Yeah, because I didn't hear any verse. That's what I'm saying. I don't consider him a rapper or anything.
And he a DJ, ain't he?
Was he? I don't know.
That who Silento? He was. Yeah. He was a pop sensation that just took advantage of the time.
Some of these, that's what I'm saying. Like some of these like artists, like even though they're black, a lot of time like we would automatically consider them rap.
Silento's out of New York though, right?
They're not rap.
I don't know.
I think he's out of New York.
That's Jersey or something.
That was around the time New York started dropping the ball. I think they did chicken noodle soup. Then they saw the South start to get a little bullshit. They said, why not us?
Yeah, a lot of people
that's when they started doing. They started doing whoop and nay.
Yeah, but that stuff I don't consider it hip hop. That's just not hip hop. That's just pop.
Not. Yeah,
to me that's just pop. That's not hip hop.
Or just hop.
But being a black artist, and if it's catchy, they're gonna put you in that hip hop category for some reason.
Because even right now they're pushing what's his name?
Who? Lil Nas X?
Yeah,
pushing him into hip hop.
Your favorite artist?
Nah.
Hip hop has its subsets. So we it has its. You don't have to be accepted in a certain lane. It's just it's the culture. It's about how you represent within the culture of hip hop more than your style of music.
Old Town Road is almost like a country hip hop record, which to me was fire. The latest song he got with him and Jake Paul, him and what's his name? You know what I'm saying? Never mind the music video, but the song is fire. The one that's kind of got all the controversy.
What's wrong with the music video, Nate?
I didn't bother watching the music video. I just know even if you click on it on Spotify, it got half naked dudes on there gyrating. So it's kind of blurred out. It has like a little 3-second loop. But I didn't bother watching the music video. But the song is fire. People can't take that away from him. And I felt like if I can't say he's doing it wrong because I like, bro, this dude got the music to last. Nonetheless, he don't need to do all these extra antics. But I guess he does need the antics to keep y'all talking, and the music is just going to be a bonus on top of it.
Well, I think his quote unquote antics is just to get pissed people off. It's just to get y'all. It's just to get under people's skin because people are so triggered by everything nowadays. Niggas is sensitive. Yeah.
But it's not by everything. He's pushing the envelope. Don't act like his shit would have been pushing the envelope even back then.
He is pushing. He's pushing the envelope. He's still pushing the envelope. But in this era and culture of acceptance, people still don't accept what he's doing. But also, too, I still believe that what I'm seeing from him is because he knows that there's a set of people that don't accept what he's doing, he's doing it anyway.
Exactly.
He's doing it anyway just to trigger y'all motherfuckers to be pissed off.
Exactly.
And hey, angry negative sells.
It does. My only issue, I don't really have an issue with Nas X, man. His music is fire. This, that, and third. Niggas that are so anti or homophobic, they kind of keep him popping. They're like, look, he's doing this to the kids. I don't know if he's doing this to the kids. He's doing it for selfish reasons. He want to get these self problems. He's not really concerned about this kid. It ain't his goal to go out, let me go and turn your kids out. I don't think so. I think so. Let me go and do the songs and get this bread. You know what I'm saying? He may not mind if your kids happen to catch a backlash from it, but it's not his mind to go out and try to convert your kids. That's he don't mind.
He don't mind if these little boys catch a stray.
Yeah, he don't mind it, but that's not his intention though, because intentions matter. Yeah,
and I think his intentions are purely just to piss people off that don't like him.
And get this bread.
Yeah, and it's because if it's a thing of kids are influenced and easily influenced by certain things here and there. My kids are young. My kids love fucking Roblox. They're influenced by freaking these damn fidget toys like the fucking Poppets and all that. Nate, you got young kids.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure your kids, Roblox. They can be influenced in certain ways. But stuff like this, if you don't present it to them, how can they be influenced by it?
They can still
just don't present it
to them.
I'm just saying you don't have to present it to them, but they can still go find it anyway.
Yeah, and but it is everywhere because all my kids, I got 4, and they're all very pro. Like, it's homophobic is like a bad thing to call. Oh, don't say that, it's homophobic. How would they even know that at this age? It is drummed in everywhere. Like, it is kind of seen like as a universal bad thing to be. You know what I'm saying? Before they learn Black history, they're learning what is almost homophobic history. Like, don't be anti-homophobic. So it is kind of drummed up in the mainstream, but it's sitting there.
I feel you, and you are talking to a former person. When I was in my teens, I was quote unquote homophobic in a way, but I was homophobic in the way of, nah, don't touch my ass. Like when I played sports, like you can slap you in the ass, yo, good. Nah, just don't slap me in the ass.
Exactly.
But I think, to me personally, what's going on in the world nowadays is just a matter of acceptance. Like, people talk this, we're pushing this on the kids. I don't think that they're pushing it. It's being displayed, yes, but within your teachings of your home, you can still mold your children to no matter what you see. That's definitely true.
That's definitely true.
But you know what I'm saying?
The acceptance is being.
I know Gray is boiling.
Any comments, Gray?
Yeah, Gray having it.
Let's divert it, Gray. Hey, what you think about it, Gray?
I do feel the
thing is, like, I'm not against homophobic and all that, but like, look at it this way, like,
gay niggas
even like heterosexual, we have to push it on the kids
because that's the norm. Nate told you that last week.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. Like, let it happen naturally. If it's their choice to do it.
I don't want to cut you off, Gray. I don't want to cut you off. My apologies. But that was something I think you said, something that you was kind of saying in last week's episode, which was like, where's the, like, almost to the effect of like, where's the straight pride march? Where's this? Where's that? Like, that is the norm. That has
that's
been the
default.
cultural norm forever. And to me, it's just like, okay, you a man and a man, you want to go get married? Do your thing.
Yeah.
I'm not marrying you. I ain't in the bed with you. I'm not doing none of that. You can live how you, as long, all we had to do is, if as a people, just accept how another person wants to live. And that's it. The people that get bent out of shape over it, it kind of goes back to what we was talking about when we was talking the military stuff. The U.S. goes to these other countries to try to put U.S. influence on them that don't want it.
But
that don't want it.
True,
I got
but
a quick question for Gray.
That influence that you're saying U.S.
hold on,
thing.
Nate.
Go ahead.
Gray. So if you find out your one of your cousins is gay, and they about to get married, and they invite you to the wedding, you going?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
I got family that I get. Yeah.
Are they getting married, and are you going?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted.
I have
to
no
know.
issues with gay people. I have no issues with none of that. But my thing
That's
is
what I'm
like,
saying. Like, you shouldn't love them no less.
no.
Listen, I'm just saying that.
Yeah, it's their life. If it makes them happy, it makes them happy. Yeah.
It is an active acceptance being pushed on folks, which is cool. To pretend that it's not, to me, is insulting, especially the black folks. The people that you already know, people at the bottom of the barrel, are going to catch the strays the most. And who's the most welcoming and accepting of gays is black women. Who's the ones that's getting the most detriment and harm from it is black women. You know what I'm saying? We already know because the bottom of the barrel always catches the worst. So I feel like for them to pretend like there's not a push for that there, it to me is kind of thing. There is a push for it to be accepted. There's a push for it, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just say that. There's nothing wrong with saying we're pushing gay love.
Yeah.
We're pushing gay. There's nothing wrong. We're pushing love in general of all things. But to them, like, oh, you guys are just homophobic for questioning it. It's kind of crazy.
Because that nigga a bitch.
No, I get what you're saying, because it's just they just want to be open and honest. It's just be open and honest is what you're saying.
Yeah, and it's not being open and honest. And if you question it and you're a man, it's considered toxic. And if you're a black man, you already know by default we're almost like the standard of toxic black men.
Yeah, well, there's other layers within that conversation that, in some respects, I agree with you on, which is like the people who get bent out of shape when you're a trans woman, right? You're a trans woman, and the man, personally, to me, should have the right to know that you were trans.
Yeah,
not on some quiet shit. It's shit like that. Like, you should, because guess what? If you are open and honest about it, then personally, in my humble opinion, that might make things safer for you just a little bit. There are still assholes that are going to do what they do. They're still going to lash out. They're still going to do something stupid. But to be that person in the dark, to hide it in the club and then take them home, let them fuck you in the dark and stuff, that's being deceptive. And that's the wrong aspect of it. Just be honest about it. And that's it. You're going to get a group of people that don't like it. You got to keep it pushing, unfortunately.
And that's a big part of that culture that they don't promote, but they just promote the other half of us being violent or reaction. And that's a big part of that culture, that keeping on the down low, sneaking in. And that's what I'm saying. It's like you're fighting a halfway war. You know what I'm saying? I seen a cop the other day. There was a cop complaining, talking about, they're like, were you really on the phone while this family's like, yes, I was on the phone because I had to explain to this father that I'm trying to bring their kid back, this, that, who was just shot. All these pedestrians out of the recording me. How come he's like, we getting 10 some bodies a week? They're not there to pick up the phone then. So it feels really bad that we're out here doing our work and the over saying. So there's two sides of the argument when a cop goes to the ground. He is actually trying to do some criminal work as well. And there's also cops that are abusing their power. There's two arguments.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. And the same thing in this that to just make it seem like black men by default are homophobic. One, it's when by general we're very conservative and y'all forcing one nature on a lot of folks saying that's one way. And if they just don't mess with it, don't mean automatically homophobic. And they never speak on the actual thing that's causing said aggressions or transgressions or anything. Now there's plenty of niggas that are very homophobic. Yeah, there's plenty of niggas that are very homophobic. Yes. I don't see plenty of niggas get the ass whooped by gay guys because they want to try to get guy at the club. Big mistake. Big mistake because you just want to try them because you think you're a punk in the club. Do not do it.
I've been fighting all my life and beat your ass.
I'm just saying is it's easier to go around and just spread love and respect
It's
a
always
person's opinion and opinions, feelings, decisions, choices in their life, as long as it's not harmful to you. I
Very
mean,
true.
we're not going to sit back and respect. I mean, we'll respect the drug dealer to an extent because in some cases, the drug dealer is out there just trying to feed their family. But on the other side, we don't respect that you're tearing down a community.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's the same. If you want to, it's not the same thing, but I'm just saying the same frame of mind is you're a homosexual, be who you want to be. I would rather see people be open about who they want to be because I know, Nate, you always say stuff about the quote unquote suicide culture and this and that and people are weak and shit. I listen, I know.
Yeah.
But if people are more open about and expressing who they are and their feelings and stuff, a lot of that will be turned down. And I personally, when it comes to mental health, this is something I wanted to get on and speak about with y'all because I'm not throwing shade being a guest. I listen to y'all and I love what y'all brothers do, man. I really do. But especially when it comes to the mental health shit, it is real. Okay, allow people to be open and speak about it because me here, right here on That's Absurd podcast, I'm telling y'all, in 2019, the mayor wanted to off himself.
Okay.
Because nothing was going right in life. Everything in my personal felt like it was just on a downward spiral to absolutely nowhere. And I really sat there and I cried to my wife and said, in bed, I don't want to, I feel like I don't want to be here. Well, what about the children? I think the children might be better off without me. That's how deep and dark I got. Eventually, I snapped out of it.
See that nigga Nate?
Eventually, I snapped out.
That nigga Nate don't believe nothing that's not tangible and that he can't see.
No, that's not true.
Just like he didn't believe.
That's not true. I believe in.
No, Nate. Let me talk. Let me talk about you. Let me talk about you real quick. Just like that nigga didn't believe in COVID when this shit was out here, and he was on this don't mask shit and all that. I'm telling you, if Nate can't touch it and can't see it, that shit don't exist. Go ahead, Nate.
That's not true. Listen, I believe in depression. I believe in people having, listen, I got plenty of friends with mental health issues out there. What I don't believe, here's what I'm saying. I believe because society speaks on it, it's kind of like one of those things when society speaks on it, it overhypes it. And other people, so much of society is on me too. I want to be a part of that. There's a lot of fake mental health going on right now. There's a lot of fake depression going on, which takes away from real people with real depression who really have an issue. There's a lot of, let me hop on that bus, hop on that train, just like, you know what I'm saying?
And let me tell you why I personally believe that is wrong. Because if a person is strong enough, like I just did a minute ago, if a person is strong enough to open themselves up to speak on it, believe it.
Okay. I mean,
don't push it away. Don't push it away. Don't push it to the side like, no, this feels like it's fake and it's taken away from somebody else's mental trauma. They very well could be going through what they're talking about that you may feel is fake. And then they get pushed away by you. Then they get pushed away by the next person. Then they get pushed away by this person. They get pushed away by this facility. Next thing you know that they're in the Atlantic Ocean drowning because they killed themselves because nobody took it serious.
So my thing is, it doesn't hurt you to say, okay, this is real. It doesn't hurt you as a person that's not going through it. It doesn't hurt you.
It takes a level of strength, though, for people to actually display it. And that's where a lot of people get frozen right here. Yep. It takes a lot to really want to open up. And a lot of people, it's hard for a lot of people, like how we mentioned before. It's hard. It's difficult for me to want to crack into the jokes I wrote to try to get on stage because I'm not mentally there yet. But once I do decide to do it, then it might be full steam ahead and you can't stop me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And you got to allow people to, if they're really expressing some type of, if you feel like you don't have the time, Give them that suicide number or something. Do something.
Listen, I'm
Just,
all for that. I feel like we're doing suicide prevention by shaming people when they do set suicide. Because I feel it is too much acceptance that going to. There is no downside to it. If I check out,
The
they're just
downside
gonna
is
say,
death.
yeah, but if everyone about you is talking about the good side of you, you just gotta don't take it rough on. How am I gonna prevent the next person to think about that? Like, look, man, I'm gonna check out, and what they're gonna say about me? Nothing but nice, kind things. But when you turn on That's Absurd, you ain't getting them nice, kind of things. You're like, nah, I'm taking it old school now. You took the sucker way out. I'm not doing that because I feel it, because we pressure niggas to stay alive. In societies that we are more open-minded to it, they also have higher suicide rates. Yes. And other places in Ethiopia and Haiti, where it's nothing but misery, lower suicide rates. Why is that? Because the culture does not accept it. Niggas have to cope. Niggas have to get up and go to work. Niggas have to just do
it. But bringing it back to my moment real quick though. Sorry,
it happens.
Nate's just an asshole.
Bringing it back to
yeah, because like even with me, like I think like last year I had checked into it like was it like a behavioral center or place like that?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, center.
You went crazy?
That was just because like I had a lot of stuff piled on me, like like it just happened like all of a sudden. You know what I mean? We all have like our level of insanity.
Notice that I'm not saying it is not true.
Yeah,
but I'm also
saying insanity. I know, right. But like even like in our culture, like we have it where like even if you like trying to seek like psychiatric help. Like people look at you as as if you're crazy. I
feel that barrier that we put up as black men for doing that. I feel that's our benefit.
And a lot of time, we're the one who goes through like the most stress, the most. We have it the hardest.
I feel like if we start adopting some of these European standards while we still have the boot on our neck, this is what's gotten us to survive.
And a lot of time, I think too, like it's because like maybe like we couldn't afford like to go to a psychiatrist. We try to make excuses and say like oh nah you're not crazy, you just crazy this and that. We're trying to I guess like push it under the rug.
Right,
it really doesn't help. Until the person actually fully break out.
It goes back to culture thing. We have how we were growing up. We like I'm from the era of sports where it was the get up, rub some dirt on it, get back in the game and shit like that. And then it took a certain level of mental strength. My bad, hold on. I was gonna say it took a certain level of mental strength.
I gotta appreciate your professionality and how when you see some background noise coming, to mute your mic and shit like that. I appreciate that shit 100%. Because most people won't. They just you hear on other podcasts where you hear wind all over the place and cars honking and dogs barking. I'd be like, damn, this is fucking up the audio of this podcast.
Yeah, now sometimes you gotta let it go, but I do this, man. Just remember that I do this. But what I was trying to get to was as though it took a certain level of mental strength, even in those eras, to say, you know what. Let me get up and finish this game. Let me get through this. Let me grind through this. It takes that same level of mental strength to say, I need help. And we know as black folks, as we mentioned, us as black folks, when it takes a lot for us to say, I need help.
Oh, yeah. All right.
This is true.
That's really, that's really, I'll end it like that. It don't look at a person that's screaming for help as weak. That's strength.
I don't take people getting help.
And a lot of times they've been going through it for a while.
I don't take people getting help for weeks, saying that you want to. The only part we criticize is the actual act of doing it. People are saying that's bravery. I'm not.
Don't say we, Nate. Don't say we. Say you.
I'm not saying we.
Say you as a member of That's Absurd, not That's Absurd.
Listen, the actual act of checking out. I cannot condemn that as bravery because it's unretractable. You can't
right.
I consider it bravery, but I gotta say, it may be something that triggers a person to do it, and they probably been going through it for a while, and they didn't want to, bother anyone with it or like feel like they're gonna be ashamed or not.
They're gonna be ashamed.
They need
now when it happens, they're gonna be ashamed on the back end. That's what they got to know.
No, I see your point. And I go back to because I had this conversation with my wife before, and I would revert to this Frank Zappa song called "Suicide Chump," and it was talking about a person who was he kind of called them a chump for taking their life, But like talking about, like I said with my wife, she was even like, no, that's actually a pretty strong, because you think about it on the flip side of how strong you have to be to want to end your own life. It can be seen as weakness.
That's how I wanted to be seen, because
Nate, imagine how strong you got to be and how committed you have to be someone that know how to swim and drown yourself.
Right.
Because your body automatically tries to get away.
Well, they go to super rough currents, you know what I'm saying?
No, bro, I'm talking about drowning yourself in the fucking bathtub. You got people that'll get to that point and drown themselves in a bathtub. You know how strong and how committed you have to be to that act to try to do that and successfully
that's
do it.
Next level. Because I don't know how you
but that's that level that I'm talking about. That's that level I'm talking about. To where it's, I mean, at the end of it all, because I don't want to stay on this. This is dark. Juno, I'm glad you lightened it up.
There's not wrong with it. There's not wrong with it, because it needs to be talked about.
These are conversations that need to be had. But just point is that just don't take it as somebody being weak. That's why
it's not.
Don't
like I said,
ever take it as somebody.
Every time y'all hear Nate talk suicide shaming,
Fuck that nigga. Fuck that nigga.
Listen, we out here suicide shaming to keep
you out here suicide shaming, nigga. You stop saying we, nigga.
Okay, I'm out here. Listen. Let me get on my manosphere thing, because you have the feminine and you have the masculine gene. This is more society being more woke, getting more into our feminine side, more reasoning, feel how the other person, which is fine. But the masculine is the reason that you're here after years of trauma and mistrust and injury. The reason you're here is because the person before you did not check out. That's the only reason you're here.
I'm an energy person.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? That's the only reason you're here is because the person prior to you did not check out.
People checked out in the past.
Just to wrap it real quick, because you just kind of rolled into one of those jokes that I had written in when you said the feminine, everybody. I had a joke where I wrote that I said every man, especially the homophobes, has at least 1% feminine in them. And I have a way I break it down, but I'd have to go back and read the joke. And that shit is in Staten Island right now. I'm thousands of miles away.
Let me know when you get it, when you gonna get in that comedy space, man. I'm gonna have to visit it one day, man. I'm gonna have to get it there.
Yeah, let us know so we could book that flight and go up there. If you start bombing, we gonna be in the back like bombing.
I'm gonna have to take to the stage, man. Work out some comedy out here. Give a new point of view out here.
And this nigga Juno acting like he ain't in New York every other week nowadays. Talking about I'm a book to come up.
Yeah, that's true.
Bro, listen, you know how hard it is to travel in New York and go around and move around, bro? It's so fucking stressful, bro.
Yes.
Bro,
I'm born and raised in that shit.
Bro, that shit
I work
is
in Manhattan. Yes.
That shit is stressful moving around.
Son,
you got a car up there?
So, of course.
Of course.
You don't say of course it's New York. Plenty people
disrespectful. He just told us a story about his car.
But I didn't know if he got it.
It's disrespectful, Nate.
Nah, we didn't. I don't drive. Nah, fuck that.
Okay,
I didn't drive down here. We flew. Trust me. I did one trip in my life from Staten Island. No, I started in the Bronx, picked up my boy in Staten Island, 22 and a half hours to drive to Shreveport, Louisiana for my boy's wedding. Jeez. It took me 26 and a half to come back because I caught a flat crossing Tennessee to Georgia. I am never driving that far again.
It's needed though, because it lets you see how much emptiness US has, how big it is. I hate road trips, but it's just a lot of emptiness, boy. US has got
it's
a
an
lot
experience,
of
and
it's
huge. And it's good. It's good when you have somebody else that can drive. See, that's now true. In my household, no shade on my wife. My wife don't have her license, so this is where the dynamic of New York comes in. If I wanted to go to work, and I live a 5-minute bus ride from the Staten Island Ferry. Where I work in Manhattan is in roughly lower Manhattan. My garage is on right off of Canal Street. I'll give you Canal Street. Canal Street and the West Side Highway. There's the two major roads. And you want to talk about traffic and moving around, and how that shit. My garage is literally around the corner from the Holland Tunnel. If traffic is really bad, it could take a half hour to an hour just to get around the corner. If I didn't have the mentality that I have to understand how to dip and dodge and get through holes and traffic and shit. My man from South Jersey called me the Barry Sanders of driving because of how he seen me dip in and out while he was in the middle of my car with a fucking camcorder watching. Like, this is the most exciting shit in the world. Like, me dipping in and out, getting from 34th Street in Manhattan to the FDR and below Houston Street in like 10 minutes. That would have took somebody else 20 to 30 minutes.
That's how you gotta be to drive in New York, ain't it?
Yeah, I learned that one time when
you
I
have
drove
to
in
be
New York.
aggressive. You gotta be aggressive.
Listen, when I'm in New York, man, if it's not, I'm in the Bronx too. If someone say, "Hey, let's meet up in Brooklyn," I gotta think hard about that shit. I gotta think hard about it.
Am I game for this today?
Nah, it be like that, yo. I lived in the Bronx for 8 years, and you want to talk about some of the worst traffic? The Cross Bronx Expressway is one of them. I call the Cross Bronx parking lot. Mm-hmm. In Brooklyn, the Belt Parkway is the Belt parking lot. These are two roadways that you can get stuck on and be stuck on them bitches.
And you see how we move around in Florida, bro. The roads is wide open. You you can travel 16 miles in like 16 minutes in Florida. In New York, I open the GPS, bro. It's 1.4 miles, 18 minutes. I'm like, fuck.
Yep.
Listen, I always wanted to know this. As a New Yorker, I guess you don't know this. I always felt like as an outsider going to New York, I feel like this place was never meant to live in. Like, this is where you rock and roll, get your money at, and move. Like, the city doesn't seem like it's ever conformed for y'all to live there. Like, the housing stacked on top of each other. It makes it easier sometimes to have a car. I feel like this is where you get your money, but you got to go to Jersey, go to Connecticut, go elsewhere to live. But this is where you stack up at.
It's where you make money. Yeah,
that's you learning New York through rap music. I can tell. That's you learning New York.
I'm just because like when you go visit family members, you see how they live in. There's like 6-7 people to apartment. You know what I'm saying?
I will describe it to you right now.
Yeah.
I will describe it to you right now. There are fucking thousands upon probably millions of people who left New York and came and moved down here. Mm-hmm. There's multiple reasons why. One, it's cheaper down here. You can buy a house for cheaper. 2, no state tax. A lot of people that retire from my job come down here because no state tax. Your pension goes longer with no state tax. But New York, it's meant to live in because, like we mentioned before, you don't choose where you're born.
Exactly.
I was born and raised in Staten Island. So Staten Island is a totally different beast from Brooklyn, from the Bronx, from Manhattan. Like my wife was born in Puerto Rico, didn't live out there till maybe 1, 2, 3 years old, but grew up in Spanish Harlem. You have to learn the way of the land and just get in how you fit in and move around accordingly. You adapt just like you adapt anywhere else. But the issue with New York is it's fucking expensive. And me being a person who works a city job,
that's the game plan in New York.
It's a fucking golden ticket if you ask me, because it's one of the few jobs nowadays within the world you can still retire from and get a pension.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And this guy retired from my garage named Ronnie Marshall. He said to me in a conversation one day in our old building, we shared same aisle in the locker room. And he said to me, it's crazy how you can't afford to live in the city you work in. And he's totally right.
Exactly.
Now we make rent and all that. We're working on getting a house and things like that. But if I was down here making the money that I make, though I got to fix my credit score, probably with the credit score that I have, along with my wife, we could probably buy some shit that is huge with land that's $100,000 to $200,000 cheaper than I would be able to in New York.
You could.
Yeah.
So it's about getting money, but it's the cost of living is real. Like, you come down here, like we seen signs for places that said, we went to McDonald's because it was late last night. It was like, do your kids, y'all mind we don't go out? Yeah, we'll get McDonald's. It said, work here, start at $11 an hour. It's now $15 an hour up there, and $15 an hour ain't even $30,000 a year. But yet, that's like minimum wage now for like fast food jobs.
Makes sense.
But down here, $11 an hour, and you see, like, I'm looking at these people behind me. Like, I just went to the 7-Eleven right across the street from me over there.
Yeah.
And there was a dude in there who looked like he was older than me working there. Now, I don't know what his past life was. Was he a criminal? Was he retired and just working a job to pad Social Security? Or it looked like a lot of these people, this is the job that you have to get. You know what I'm saying? And this is the job that you got to get.
You're right. It is.
You know what I'm saying? Cost of living is a real thing.
It is like we said, demographics does make a big difference. Down here, we don't have as many government jobs that could scapegoat. You know what I'm saying? Right. Up in New York, if you play your cards right, you do your time, you do your 20, get your pension, then you could buy or sell down there, move down here, get a second gig, work part-time. Now you got your pension, your second gig in that. That's why a lot of people come down from New York. They buy $400,000 or $500,000 houses. They still get their pension. They get their they still get the part-time job, and they you know what I'm saying? They eating, they're doing good. Let alone, not to mention the officers, man. The officers come, they get their pension. They do a second security gig down here, get another 90. You know what I'm saying? So they're making a good 6 figures right when they touch down.
Yeah. Like my man who I call my big brother, he left Staten Island as an elevator mechanic, came down here to Florida. He's in close to Tampa area. He does elevator mechanic work, which happens to be great money down here.
Yep.
He bought he got a nice piece of land with fucking acres, like, you know, ride on low mower acres. He would have never been able to get that same shit in Staten Island. Staten Island alone, like, you can't get that.
So you gotta almost play the U.S. We got 50 states. You gotta learn to jumping around, get what you can from just play rip and run. That being loyal to one area it's detrimental. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Get what you,
I got no choice.
You can from you're in the area. Well, you got a pension. I wouldn't tell you to
but I have no choice because the way my job and my union's contract is constructed, we have to live within New York City or within a certain county of New York State.
Oh, in order for them to
So yeah, because honestly, I could, like, Staten Island, we're connected to the city via bridge, and we're connected to Jersey by bridges. I could go right over the bridge to any one of the parts of New Jersey. Better house, probably better land for $100,000 to $200,000 less, with better school systems, and be able to live comfortably and go to work in Manhattan. But my union's contract says I can't do that.
That's probably because they want to only hire local.
Oh no, it's about the money. They want to. It's a double dip off of taking your taxes out your check, and then keep your money in the city so you get taxed off the city and the state. You know, it's a game about the ends in the wallet at the end of the day.
Wow. Yeah, it's definitely, you definitely have to make a lot of bread up there to live good.
Yeah, it is, but there is that talk of being a certain level of strong.
Yeah,
if you can be strong in New York, you can take that shit anywhere and rock out.
Right, that's where that phrase comes
that's
from.
Real.
You make it here, you make
that's
it
real.
anywhere.
That is real.
I definitely see that. I definitely see that.
I think it also happens because, like, it's also one of those things that I think J. Cole said it. I moved to New York to take advantage of all the shit that niggas take for granted. Sometimes when you're living there, you don't see it. That's why outsiders get to come in and come up.
Well, also too, but this is where the gentrification conversation comes in, and it's more than. And again, I have to remind people this term of gentrification. It is not just white people.
You're right.
This is anybody. This is anybody who is a fucking outsider.
Like Juno doing right now in New York. You know,
he's temporary resident. Temporary.
Hey, New York. We paying New York State tax over there, so we giving back to the city.
You giving back to the community, right?
Right.
Yeah. But the difference is these people come from outside and are stupid and willing to pay these $3,000 to $5,000 rents for studio and 1-bedroom apartments just to say that they live in the West Village, just to say that they live in Soho, just to say that they live in Midtown. They're
view,
willing
though.
to pay
That view is a killer, man. We got the same thing down here. Like,
but there's a lot more shit to do over there than there is down here. Like Juno mentioned, you got to drive miles to get to something over here.
Right.
Now, fortunately, the hotel we're staying at today, I mean, for this week, we walked to a restaurant right next door to have dinner. We walked to have lunch. We drove 2 minutes down the block to get
Orlando near the attractions. That's what they do. They try to make it a religion hotel. They put everything
right.
Yeah,
right, which is cool. This is almost New York convenient.
Yeah.
New York, you walk outside, you're right in front of a bodega. You're right in front of some nightlife. That is if you're in Manhattan, and people are willing to pay that shit. Brooklyn, there's a cool factor about Brooklyn. That's why Brooklyn is one of the most expensive places to live, if not the most expensive place to live in the country.
Outside of Manhattan?
Yes.
Because Manhattan's not more expensive, I'd imagine?
A lot of people rent more in Manhattan than
buy. They don't own. Okay, yeah, you're right.
You buy a little tiny fucking brownstone in Brooklyn for 1.2.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, a story I was told when I worked 2 years in Brooklyn, this guy knew somebody. I think the street was Windsor Terrace. It was in Park Slope. Park Slope is a big money neighborhood. I think the mayor of New York, de Blasio, lives in Park Slope. But there was a little small not brownstone house, but he was like, this dude I knew grew up there. His parents bought the house way back in like the 50s or 40s or 60s or something. I think 50s or 60s. $40,000. Parents died off, left him the house, all that. He was able to sell that house for $1.4 million.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I wonder how much that house is going for now, because
it's probably 1.5 to 2 million.
Right.
Like that is just what I'm saying.
That's what happens when the parents that was able to get it for a good price die off, and the kids get it. The kids cash out real quick.
I got a guy another guy I worked with in Brooklyn. He owned a brownstone that his parents had. Now, no brownstones. There's some brownstones that like in Manhattan that flip for 10 plus million. Like this dude just did renovations on the shit. So then what he said his plan was once he retires, he was going to move down here, rent that bitch out. Exactly. And he could rent that brownstone house out, 3 levels of apartments. He could rent it out for a minimum of $2,500 to $3,000 each
level. Yeah, bro.
Yeah. That's income. But that's the benefit of freaking having something handed down to you. That's something that a lot of our people don't have.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. It makes a big difference.
I definitely know about that level shit, because we on the second level in some house in the Bronx, and the prices they're asking, they waxing.
Oh yeah, and the Bronx is coming up to what part of the Bronx? We're at
East Chester.
Okay.
So
East Chester,
off of
what?
Parkway.
Oh, okay. I was close to there. I was in Westchester Square.
Yeah,
which is not too far. Pelham Parkway is like more 5 train, close to 6 train, right?
Yeah, I don't know about the trains. I ain't getting on no train.
All right.
Yeah, well,
that's kind of that's a descriptor. Yeah, you didn't. I'm saying you didn't get there yet in New York, but that's one of those descriptors of. You'll learn it eventually.
I think
you'll learn it eventually.
Your connection is getting glitchy.
I still haven't moved, and this reception has sucked here this entire time I've been here, yo. The Wi-Fi went off. I tried to get the Wi-Fi back on. Sorry, y'all.
All good. Yeah, I can't do the public transportation in New York, bro. I'm gonna just struggle with that 18 miles to get to a mile.
Eventually you're gonna learn. You gotta learn eventually.
I gotta say, Manhattan.
I don't plan on living there, so I ain't gonna learn.
Manhattan's the
I'm just come back to where I can just drive all over the place in Florida, man.
Yeah, Manhattan's the only place I've ever drove through where like you actually gotta wait for the light to turn red so you can make a left turn.
Oh no! That's well, yeah. There you go, Florida boy. Anywhere but New York City.
Yeah,
you could go up. You could go upstate New York, and you can do right on reds.
Yeah,
anything with it.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say anything within city limits is no right on red. So like at the top of the Bronx is another area I used to work in. Like if you are at the top of the Bronx that borders Yonkers or what's this
New Rochelle.
New Rochelle, yeah, New Rochelle.
Yeah.
Once you cross over to Yonkers, New Rochelle, you can do right on reds without the sign, unless it says no right on red. Every other state has that shit where you could do it.
Listen.
You know, I've been to Puerto Rico where in Puerto Rico at night you could fucking run red lights because of carjackers. Like,
listen, when I first got up there with the car, because I transported my wife's car up there, like everywhere I'm going, I'm busting that right on. I'm busting the right on the red until she gets in the car. And she's like, "What the fuck is you doing? We're not allowed to do that here." I'm like, "Shit, I ain't know that. I'm a Florida boy.
Yeah.
You see a Florida tag on the car?"
Yeah, unless there's a sign that says right on red, you can't do it. Just remember that. Yeah, you can't do that shit. You will get pulled over. Cops wait on corners just for shit like that.
Red light. When you do the left, you just running a red light. You up there running
that's
red lights,
nigga. That's what I saw everybody was doing. So I had to, I wanted to make a left turn, so I had to wait for the light to turn red and just get in right before it turns green for the oncoming traffic to move, so I can make that left.
Yeah, you just
and that's another one of those things of, like I said, if you could make it in New York, you can make it. If you could drive in New York City in city limits, if you could drive in Brooklyn. You could kind of make it.
I was in Brooklyn too, and I learned that once a motherfucker pull up and put the emergency light on, they park.
That means
when they double park,
they park.
Yeah, double park. Yep.
Listen, my driving.
Don't drive in the Heights. Then don't drive in the Heights because every Dominican double parks up there. You would think something. Just double park, and it's like it's normal shit.
Listen, since I've been driving to New York, coming back to Florida, it's fucking. These Floridians look at me like I'm crazy because you know in New York when somebody got their turning signal on, they waiting for it to be able to turn. You just go around that motherfucker. You do that in here, they look at you like you crazy, like you impatient. I'm like, this is just normal driving to me. Nah.
That's it.
But they looking at me like I'm crazy, and they don't know how to handle when you drive like you in New York down here.
Nah, see me. I kind of roll the opposite. Like I get in my New York bag sometimes, but as soon as I leave the state, I remember I'm not from there, and I don't want that smoke from the cops. That's all I'm saying. I don't want that smoke. So I drive how they drive down here. Now, so far so good down here. Like I'll stay in a line in a normal spot when I'm fucking. I want to blow by everybody. I don't know where I'm at down here, so I almost drive Miss Daisy. Like Now I don't do two hands on the wheel, never in life, but I follow.
You in the tourist area, so you ain't got that much to worry about being in the tourist area. So
yeah, true indeed. But I remember I'm not from here until I'm from here. That's how I operate. That's how people stay alive too.
Yeah,
right.
That's true.
What about you got any sport topics for us? You the sports
guy. I
got
got nothing unless y'all want to make fun of Dennis Schroeder, who decided to gamble on himself.
We talked about that. We talked about that last week.
Tebow, y'all didn't speak on your boy Tebow got released from the NFL this year, man. I mean,
when that shit happened, I said Jesus couldn't fix that, huh?
There's memes of him racing up.
Yeah, he was a tight end on Jacksonville. On the
he was just on country. Oh yeah, he was.
There's memes of him talking about Tebow next week in an NBA jersey.
I ain't see those yet.
That's that privilege connection.
Oh
yeah, to a point. But that was, you could say that because his old coach Urban Meyer, who I'm just waiting to see what kind of health scare he goes through in the NFL, because that's how he got out of Florida. All of a sudden, his heart was bad when controversy struck. Then he made it to Ohio State, his dream job. Then controversy hit. Then all of a sudden, he had brain tumors. What's going to happen with the Khan family in Jacksonville next? When the Jaguars are freaking 2-10 for 3 seasons while he's there, is it going to be, does this man have gout in his feet and he can't walk the sidelines no more?
He got the perfect excuse now. He gonna hit him with I got COVID 2 times. I can't handle Florida and their COVID protocols. I gotta leave.
That's it. This government's crazy, yo.
Do
I
they
can't
fulfill
do
his
it.
contract each time he goes on medical?
No, see college and NFL is different. Like him being contracted in the NFL, like he can not get signed again. It's different. College football, college football in some respects, once you land a job, there's huge job security. Like once you land a job in one of these big programs and make that program very successful, you can damn near stay a career there. Look at Nick Saban in Alabama. He's brought national championships. That man doesn't have to go anywhere until he says so. He didn't have to leave LSU when he brought my LSU Tigers at national championship. He didn't have to go. You know what I'm saying? Look at the U, my other team, when in Miami, like when if the NFL wasn't calling Jimmy Johnson and the Cowboys was calling Jimmy Johnson, he probably could still be at the U. But eventually, when the program ain't going the way it's supposed to, they will let you go. But if you were in a top program like Urban Meyer was in Ohio State, if it wasn't for controversy, his ass would still be there right now. If it wasn't for Florida, when he was in Florida University and controversy, his ass might not have left Florida for Ohio State unless the Ohio State job opened up, which it did. Without controversy, he might have still, he could have just transitioned over. There's a lot more job security in college football coaching than there is NFL. A lot more.
All
what else y'all got?
Well, based on Tebow, I say it was privileged because I remember when he first came into the NFL, even like you had a lot of politicians giving him shout outs. And I've
good
never
Christian
seen that
boy.
before. I've never seen that before. From
anybody. With Tim Tebow, it was good Christian boy that, good values, good morals, very well spoken on camera, things of that nature. His problem when he first stepped into the league was he was stubborn. He wanted to play quarterback still, and he did not want to break from that. He was not a good professional quarterback.
Yeah.
If he had taken the advice of people that were coaches and stuff that were speaking in the media and stuff before and went to say halfback or fullback or even running back or even tight end, then he would have had a solid career and would have never played Major League Baseball for the Mets in the minor league system.
But did he ever play those positions before that though?
Probably not. And the fact that he was a quarterback, he was stuck on like, I need to play quarterback. Exactly. But when he was coming out of the combine,
so he could adapt being a mobile quarterback.
Yeah, but if you watch his ability to throw the ball in the NFL game, totally different from college.
Yeah.
Right. When I wasn't a big NFL guy. You know what I'm saying? I still ain't, but the fact this dude will still get it. I mean, I guess it helps because you're the quarterback. The more that you can drive a couple touchdowns because you get the certain plays. I like the fact that you're still putting up a couple touchdowns a game. I'm like, this is something big. You don't get this every day.
In a way, I couldn't blame him because the quarterback position is different from all the other positions. I think it's one of the highest paid, and also you get to be part of
the highest celebrated. It's the highest celebrated position.
And right. Because you're the face. Technically, you're the face of the team.
Yeah.
You're the face of the team. When realistically, the highest paid position, in my humble opinion, I'll call bias because I played the center position. The highest paid positions on a football field should be that offensive line because that offensive line got to protect that quarterback. And it used to be the highest paid players used to be the left or right tackles, depending on the arm of the quarterback, because the blindside protection was the most important piece on that offensive line. They used to be the highest until the quarterback became the flashy. And now you got freaking Pat Mahomes, a freaking $500 million, on paper, that is, but a $500 million contract. You got Josh Allen I think he's making like 40-something million a year. He just signed a new contract with Buffalo. Like, the quarterback is the flash, is the face on TV. It's what ESPN only knows how to talk about is quarterbacks. And yeah, Tim Tebow tried to be that guy, but Tim Tebow, unfortunately, if you watched him play in college compared to the NFL, he could not throw his receivers on the run.
Yeah.
The one playoff game that he won when he beat the Pittsburgh Steelers on that fluke broken play, he hit that wide receiver who was stationary, and that wide receiver ran that touchdown in for the win. When he was in college, he was barely throwing people in on the run. But when he was accurate because the wide receiver was wide open. There's a lot more details that I could point out to you if we were sitting and watching film to why he wasn't an NFL quarterback, good NFL quarterback. And I just think he would have had a long career and he wouldn't have had this in and out and bouncing around if he listened to the advice earlier in his career.
Yeah,
he tried to come back now because Urban Meyer was his coach. That's his man. That's his boy. Yeah, he knows Urban will give him the chance.
Exactly. That's where the privilege lies. Yeah, it ain't the fact that he's white. It's his own coach that looked out for him. Yeah.
I guess that another that quarterback stubbornness, it played out good for Lamar Jackson though.
Yes, but Lamar Jackson is a quarterback.
Right.
Lamar Jackson can make all the throws. He can do, and plus he was more of a dynamic player than Tim Tebow ever was. Though Tim Tebow did win 2 national championships at the University of Florida. But Lamar Jackson as a player, as a quarterback, like that was a lot of mental gymnastics as far as race is concerned.
That's what
the old GM and former ESPN analyst Bill Polian. He was the biggest one on this nigga needs to be a wide receiver without saying nigga, but this nigga needs to be a wide receiver because of his speed, his height, and all of this stuff. Not thinking this is the second coming of Michael Vick.
Mm-hmm. Right, you look at
this guy can play the job, do the job, and he became NFL MVP.
Like a big slave on the block. He this is a big dude. He can be good at this. Let's put him over there. But not really taking into consideration that he can be a quarterback and a great quarterback at that, or a good quarterback at that.
Absolutely. And he came right out the gates firing and letting every doubter wrong, letting them know that they were wrong, and became NFL MVP.
Right. So his mom definitely did the right thing when telling them, nah, my son ain't playing nothing else but quarterback. Fuck all that shit y'all talking about.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
What else we got, fellas? What else we got, fellas?
What else I got?
Word, because it's getting fucking super late. I know my wife is asleep, but
this is an everyday occurrence when we dealing with this dude Nate you see over here.
Nate.
Hey, somebody color people's time, that's all. Chalk it up to.
One thing I got is we have this sprinter out of University of Houston. Passed away. His name was Cameron Burrell.
What do you have? COVID?
I've heard of Cameron Burrell. That dude was nice.
Yeah.
Speak closer to the mic, bro. You dipping in and out.
Yeah, I'm still trying to follow the story, but didn't know what he passed away from. So.
Okay. That's sad.
It's crazy, like sudden death.
He died like in the field. Well, there's this one thing. I don't know what it's called. It's not sudden death. That's what kids sits. I know there's this one thing with soccer players, and I believe it's like maybe I don't know the statistic. Maybe 1 in 75 humans might have it, where the heart, once you hit a certain amount, it's like a heart issue. Sometimes every now and then soccer players just fall out. But usually most people aren't exerting themselves that much to ever know if you got it. And it's one of those things they don't detect until it happens. So soccer players tend to die from it. Every now and then they'll fall out, and by the time they get to them, they die. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know the name of what you're talking about. But it sounds familiar because it's something that a lot of
soccer.
It happens when they're young. No, not just soccer players, but a lot of people when they're young that like eventually with the running and the exercise and stuff, a lot of things they grow out of.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Kind of similar to like say asthma. Like my oldest daughter was asthmatic for a while. We had to get her the pumps. We had nebulizers and all that stuff. Once we had her on the path of playing soccer, she knocked all of that out. We get the pump for just in case. Exactly. But she knocked all of that out. But there's a certain heart condition that, a lot of athletes, because of the work that's not over strenuous, that they learn how to deal with and run with, it just keeps going. unless there's certain things that go undetected. Like
Exactly.
I think like well, Hank Gathers. Hank Gathers was the guy who died on the basketball court. That it was a heart condition that went undetected. You know what I'm saying, and passed out and died on the court. So
I know because of that, it always made me always afraid to play soccer because it was a thing that happened like you know they have the biggest field out there. So because they're kind of
wasn't
exerting
that.
themselves.
Nigga, you just not athletic, nigga.
No, I play. I ran track and everything else, but I always thought track, soccer. You said I always didn't want to don't want to overexert. Definitely that one because just seeing it was random.
You had that in mind the whole time you were playing.
That nigga,
After seeing it, because I ran track with
he just didn't like getting his ass busted on the field in the court. He trying to use that as an excuse.
I was on my track team in school too, but you never caught me running. I was a shot putter.
No,
I was a shot putter and discus thrower. I knew where my size fit in, and I utilized that. But yeah, man, rest in peace to that dude, man. I don't know the full story either, Gray, but rest in peace to him.
They haven't really like
bring
out much information about it either. So.
Yeah, that's something you should use to follow up when you do get more information to let people know. So we're not sitting, for the next episode, you're not letting people like, oh, what the fuck, follow up on that one. That's just sad.
Yeah. So speaking of like conditions and asthma and stuff, bro, when I'm in New York, I can't breathe for shit.
You know what?
My breathing is horrible when I'm in New York, bro.
Didn't you used to have asthma growing up, Joe?
Nah, I never had asthma, bro. I was always I was a healthy kid. I was one of the healthy
I remember
kids.
you and Gene back in there. I wasn't sure if it was Gene. So
that was your cousin. That's part of your bloodline.
I never had asthma. I just remember you and Gene back in the days.
No, me and Gene used to be the fastest kids on the block.
Correct.
He's the one with asthma.
And Gene was still big back then too. Gene, you and both were big, and y'all still used to be the fastest. It was crazy until they found out he had asthma. And his dad wouldn't let him do no more, nothing sports related. Yeah. He got big now, my cousin Gene. But back then, him and Juno, them boys used to get it, boy.
Yeah, we was going back and forth with 1 and 2. We used to be the fast kids on the block, leaving y'all niggas.
And not me. Bus. I was the slow motherfucker, but I was generally the strongest one. But I was the slow motherfucker. I was the one that get caught first and tag all the time.
Y'all got anything else? Y'all want to go ahead and sign us out? We don't have nothing. I guess we kind of covered politics of Afghanistan.
Yeah, a lot. Mainly from pop culture. So, want to zoom through them?
I guess you could fast round, bro, because we about to go on in 4 hours.
Fast round. What you say, zoom through?
All right. Okay, let's go. Highest paid OnlyFans model earned $30 million in a year. Yeah, they getting it.
Yeah. Suckers born every day. I believe it.
You said OnlyFans model?
Yeah, highest paid.
Salute to you. You know what's funny about OnlyFans? OnlyFans wasn't even created for what we know of it is today.
Right.
And that's all it gets shamed for.
Yeah.
And they're trying to move away from all that pornography stuff to get corporate.
Yeah.
That's going to be hard, to
get that corporate money and stuff. But
I mean, their highest paid models, a lot of them are just like regular models. White women, they're not getting fully neutered. And they're just like, I think a lot of it, she's like this white girl, she did a lot of like weightlifting and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? So she's in her bikinis, you know what I'm saying? She got ducks paying $5-10 a month to that, so.
You can find a lot of independent. I heard you can find a lot of independent wrestlers on OnlyFans too, and again, not doing nudity shit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, shoot again, Gray.
Yeah. Okay. You remember that condo in Miami that collapsed?
Yeah.
So there's been bidding on it, and the highest offer went up to $120 million.
Yeah.
For that space
on a collapse.
Yeah, that collapsed space. Yeah, that land. Yeah.
Niggas is crazy.
Yeah,
I'm real.
Man, you don't think I would have bought something that's cheap enough? You ain't gotta live there. Airbnb it.
Yeah, but to rebuild on what's proven unsafe foundation.
Yeah.
But it's only unsafe because it was too old. The new ones, anything built after I forget what year is fixed. So now that when they remodel it, it's gonna be fixed. It's gonna be proper.
Good point.
And that beachfront in Florida is insane.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
good point. Yeah, you definitely would have to modernize it because I know everything down here is below sea level. So
Exactly.
like, I learned about that when one of my brother Leon, who lives in Tampa, when he was getting his house built. Like he's like, yeah, nothing down here has a basement because of that.
Yeah, exactly. And he's in Central Florida, and then they tend to have sinkholes. Yeah, that shit happens in South Florida. So
yeah.
Go ahead, Gray. What else?
Okay. Lizzo went on TED Talk, talk about her what's it, best assets, her butt. And also did a little twerk. So
it's worse than that. Because let me add to that story. Then she ended up crying online, right? You know, talking about her. Because Lizzo's a 50-50. She's very proud, and she's being fat shamed. And then now fast forward to just a couple minutes ago, Facebook and Instagram are actively going in there and scraping negative comments from her thread. So if you're going in there writing fat asses out there, they're pulling your comments off. I don't know if they're closing your page out, but the system's protecting her. You know what I'm saying? They're not allowing
they're protecting her, but come on, the shit she
ain't gonna be able to see what y'all saying anymore. How y'all feel now? Now she could be as fat and proud as she wants to.
Hey, she's gonna get it from another platform.
I love the big draws, so I like Lizzo a lot. But I like her confidence as a big person too, because as a big, I've been a big dude all my life. I've struggled with confidence all my life for the most part, but so I appreciate a person like her. What I don't like that y'all mentioned though is these internet platforms going back and scrubbing the negative shit. Unfortunately, even though these keyboard gangsters are assholes out here and are still doing what they do, it's a part of the beast.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, it's a part of the beast. I'm not cool with the people saying all the negative shit, but I'm also not cool with these platforms going back and scrubbing. I mean, shit. Facebook is giving people. I caught one. Facebook is giving people fucking community standard strikes for fucking posts from 2012 and 2015.
Yeah. Someone went back and hated on you. Exactly. Someone went back and hated on you, and you get a flag. You're like, and the thing is, you can't even see the comments. It's so small. You can't see the picture. Got flagged. Yeah,
you can't even see the post anymore because they took it down and then told you were wrong.
Exactly.
Like, fuck you.
Yeah, that happened to me a couple times on Instagram. I'm like, bro, what is that? They took me down for?
That definitely happened to me on Instagram when I posted something about how one of these medical schools, like out of the whole class, there was no black candidates, and I posted that like in 2012, and that shit got taken down last year.
Hate speech.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I get it.
That's good old Uncle algorithm.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't have her promoting body positivity, but at the same time, like there's a time and place for everything. TED Talk is like where you have mainly professional speakers come in there, speak.
No, but there's TED Talks for anything now though. There's even parodies of TED Talks. The shit is hilarious.
And I was gonna say, they invite you to a TED Talk knowing what you're going to talk about.
Yeah.
So that was the time and place for what she did, because she had to probably deliver what she was going to talk about to get on the platform.
It started out being about, business then, but there's TED Talks for literally anything nowadays.
Yeah.
I've seen parody TED Talks, you couldn't even tell they're real until you listen to the subject what they're talking about. It's like the opposite of everything you think of. You're like, oh shit. So, there's
bro. TED Talks are about everything. I don't watch a TED Talk about washing hands, bro.
I'm telling you.
This was before the pandemic, so I was like,
they
really gave this nigga a TED Talk, and he's talking about washing hands and how to get your hands dry properly.
Well, they gave Elon Musk's ex-wife one, and she's just up there talking about him. I'm like, how the fuck you get a TED Talk talking about your ex-husband?
I'm waiting for them to give me one to talk about podcasting. I'm waiting.
It's wild.
I do this.
What else, Greg? What else you got?
What else? All
right.
I guess that's it.
This was fun.
Quick recommendations from the fellas. Quick recommendations. What you got for us, Maya?
Recommendations. I'll keep it simple, man. Just come join us on the Star 5. Come kick it with us. Yeah, especially come join our Facebook group, the Star 5 Podcast Facebook group. We do a lot of it's sports, it's politics, it's hip hop. But the group is funny ass memes, you know, shit talk, but like we keep it cordial shit talk.
What days do you drop?
The podcast itself is I'll give all that when it's for final shout outs, but I'm recommendations. Listen to the Starting Five. Listen to That's Absurd. Listen to the Everything podcast. I wanted to shout out my boy Lou, who lives in South Florida. Lou from the BX, by the way, actually. He's from the Bronx. But listen to the Everything podcast. Listen to Ladies Love Hip Hop. Listen to The Open Run. Just listen to podcasts and listen to a lot of the smaller, lesser named podcasts that aren't your Joe Rogans, that aren't your Joe Buttons, that aren't your Rory and Malls, and all the people that are just out there to do this just to get a bag. Give people a shot that are not the ones getting the bag and help us get there too. Because a person like myself is going to reach back and pull up the people that I respect and I have love for so we all can win. Because these other platforms don't do that.
Definitely. It's kind of odd how there's a plethora of young, new people to pick from, and they keep giving the bag to celebrities. I'm like, bro, you can get these other people for half the price.
It's because it's instant notoriety.
Yeah, it is, but
they know what they're gonna get.
Exactly. Like, you get people that are just as good for a fraction of the money, blow them up. And walk on them again. If they're thinking smart, they're playing the long game.
Yeah. So my recommendation is listen to more podcasts in your life because there's a lot of learning out there, and it's dope to learn from other people's perspectives.
What you got for us, Greg?
Oh man, let's see what I got. I ain't got nothing, bro.
Nothing from Greg. Nothing from Greg. Yeah. Nothing from Greg. What about you, Nate?
My recommendation this week would be Homeland on what was that on Amazon? Yeah, Homeland season 1 and season 2. Season 1's already fired. I just finished season 2 with Janelle Monáe, who's fine as hell, by the way. Janelle Monáe is a beast, bro.
Yeah, I love her.
Yeah, she's a different. I definitely underrated.
She's fine as hell, but a beast.
You remember? Bro, you know the first. Remember when she first came out here wearing these pantsuits her first few years of her career, disguising herself? You know what I'm saying? We never knew.
Yeah, you didn't know there was a baddie under that two-piece, huh? That two-piece suit. There was a baddie under that two-piece.
But she stars in season 2. It's all stars in there, but season 1's fire. You get through season 1, which is already fire, star-studded. Season 2 is just a different dynamic. It's just fucking fire. Now, I know she's gonna be in season 3 because she did what's saying, but they just finished. Season 2 finished earlier this year, so those are the Homeland. I'd say Homeland season 1 and season 2 on Amazon videos. How about you, Juno?
You already know my recommendations for this week. Go check out that Fuck Juno rant.
Look at all the free promo you give my boy. Where else you gonna get that? Next week he's gonna have to give an apology because you did give him a lot of free promo.
Listen, go check out that Fuck Juno rant on the Kennel Talk podcast, episode 105, marker 3140. If you want to hear if you don't like Juno and don't like the bullshit Juno be saying on That's Absurd, definitely go listen to that Fuck Juno rant.
I'm gonna go listen to it just for that, and then I'm gonna tune out. Just for that, and then I'm gonna tune out. I just want to hear it because shit like that is funny to me.
Me too, bro. I enjoyed the shit.
Kind of strange. Maybe next week you say I was acting a little bit out of my body. You know what I'm saying? My bad. And we'll see how that works.
All right, man. Go ahead and plug your final shout outs before we sign out of this.
Word up. First off, man, thank y'all at About Time. We're definitely going to have to do this more often, especially because we got the Zoom thing popping, especially when I'm home when internet connection is way better than this fucking hotel shit. And my freaking T-Mobile reception, for some reason, is not working at all in your freaking state.
Yeah.
So we're going to redo this.
I'm on T-Mobile too.
Word. So, I mean, word up. First off, thank you, brothers, man. I love what y'all do. Y'all got a friend in me for good unless y'all fuck it up. Just remember that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are always welcome to come to the Starting Five show at any time. We are at the starting5podcast.com. As I mentioned before, please, it's open for everybody. come join the Starting Five Podcast Facebook group. There's only 3 questions to answer, but if I know your name and I know who you are, I just press accept anyway. But there is 3 basic little questions to answer. Don't answer this one by saying, do you listen to podcasts and will you support and share the podcast? If you say no, like some idiot did, instant denial. You're not going to get in.
Is that pre-programmed, or is that
no? You have to set it. I set the parameters. So you come in, you select you want to join the group. There's 3 questions. You just answer those questions, and I read them. Some dumbass said no to listening to podcasts and share and help and support us. I'm not letting you in because you're already against us. So fuck that person, whoever that was.
And is there a wider way? Can they write you like, hey, can you go back and revisit? What was the case of the fact?
They probably could have. I doubt it. To type in N-O, 2 letters that aren't right next to each other.
Oh, it lets you type it in. Okay,
that ain't fat fingers. That was a choice that was made, and he chose to see violence out of me, and he got that violence. But anyway, the Starting5podcast.com. Join the Facebook group. Instagram at the Starting5_podcast. Fuck Twitter. I don't give out the Twitter name because I hate Twitter. Most toxic place on the internet.
Definitely.
And
we agree on that.
That's OG Nate P's favorite place to hang out.
I know. I hear it.
It's a violent relationship, bro.
It's a porn site now, man.
It's definitely a horrible place. I don't know why I do it to myself though.
And then also to my company, HHDG Media Incorporated. Come check us out at hhdgmedia.com. Come follow the podcast at HHDG Media, the podcast. Shout out to my man, one of my partners, Wiki Ian. This dude is like the hip hop A&R. He should be an A&R in a major company, but that's almost 40 years of friendship and family right there. So he ain't going nowhere but us. That man has been booking some outstanding talent that he's been interviewing in the underground scene of hip hop. So if you want dope rap music, come check out HHDG Media. You'll find some dope blogs on some dope music that y'all could get put up on. If there's a certain sound you'll like, you'll find it through our blogs. You'll check out some dope new interviews from dope people that you might not have heard of before through the podcast. So please come support hhdgmedia.com also. And that's it. Happy birthday once again to my oldest daughter, Zaria Marie, 14 years old. And yeah, man, again,
don't you have
much love to y'all brothers?
Don't you have
much love to y'all brothers?
A cigar partnership or something like that? Because I know you'd be big on the cigars.
I do not have a partnership yet, but that was an event that we just did with Philly Cigar Week earlier this year. We did live interviews during the event at Philly Cigar Week.
Okay.
So yeah, check out Philly Cigar Week on Instagram. Also, good brother over there. He's traveling the country, does dope events and stuff like that. Check them out too. But as far as cigars, like I've been working on trying to create my own brand. I have leaves at home that I've practiced rolling and stuff like that. And I fell off of it because there's a certain thing that I want to do. There's certain leaves that I got to start buying to try to get myself back into it. Mm-hmm. And that's another goal of mine for later, to start my own cigar brand, but that's another one for another day.
You said black old on that bad boy. It's gonna push right now, especially in this climate.
Hey, it is what it is, man. I'm gonna try to do what I gotta do before retirement, so I can set myself up after retirement for not having to work for anybody ever again. I can retire at the age of 48 years old. So when I hit 48 and I walk off this job with 20 years, if I choose to, I have to now worry about a Social Security gap from 48 years old to 62. And a little tip for y'all out there, you can't have more than a 5-year gap of no income. So remember that. You can chill, get a little part-time this time, fall back.
Oh, they want you to keep fitting into it.
Yes, the Social Security system. Because if you don't, then your numbers,
your average,
starts going down. So I'm not a financial wizard, but there's a small tip for y'all out there. Once again, thank y'all
Appreciate it.
brothers again. Like I said, y'all got me here. Like I said, only y'all could fuck up this relationship now. That's how I put it. Because I don't act funny style with nobody. So y'all got me for good, man. And I definitely keep bigging y'all up the way I do.
Definitely
appreciate it, boss.
Appreciate
Appreciate
it.
it.
Definitely want to thank you for joining us. We've been on here for a good 2.5 hours with you.
Man.
Yeah, cooking, man.
Maybe
Your boys
3.
been-
We've probably been on here for 3. You know, this usually how it goes down on That's Absurd. We usually have 4-hour episodes and shit.
Yep.
Taking a Combat Jack style.
Hey, I love the long format podcast, to be honest with you, because it gives you something to listen to throughout the day. Like I can listen to an hour here, then it's, oh shit, I gotta do something. Yo, I get to come back to it. Then I get to I'm at home. I'm out every night. I'm outside with my cigar, 2-3 hours, checking out whatever podcast until I finish it.
Especially if you're working, it goes along. That's podcasts. Is when I was working, man. Podcasts, any log form podcast, the Joe Rogans, the Brilliant Idiots, also.
I noticed that too.
Podcast.
I noticed that too. Our longer episodes get the most plays.
Because people be at work, people need stuff. They need time to kill stuff.
So
man.
if
Driving,
I already know if it hits over 3 hours, that's gonna be it's gonna get a lot of plays.
Which it's crazy too, right?
Because that just means you also the content is there.
Yeah.
If you're willing to talk for that long, the content's there. Some people can only do an hour. A lot of people struggle to just try to contain everything in it within an hour. To me, I just say let the conversation go until it's over.
Yeah,
that's how you get the best stuff out instead of trying to contain.
That's been our format. Is just let the shit rock. If it rocks, it rocks. We don't care if we jump off topic here, jump off topic there. We all over the place. You already know how it goes down.
Yeah.
And then the worst thing you can do with that is split it in half. So say y'all got something going on the next week, you got a show already for next week, and you don't have to get up.
Yeah, that's true. You break it apart.
Part 2s, yep.
Go ahead and sign us out then, Juno.
All right, folks. Appreciate y'all for sticking through with us. Appreciate the mail for coming through, but you already know what to do. Hit us up on That's Absurd Pod on Instagram, That's Absurd Pod on Twitter. That's Absurd Podcast on, what is it, Facebook?
Yep.
Instagram, Twitter,
Facebook, whatever it is. Let's see. You can always drop an email at that'sabsurdpodcast@gmail.com, and the voice line is always open. And you see, the mayor used to drop his voicemails. Now he on the show. Exactly. So it's all love. It's all love. Hit us up at 407-900-6076. That number is 407-900-6076. And we'll catch you guys next week. We out.